Hey, so you're a Thomas Sowell fan, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when people talk about I just said you because I know you both are. Okay. So when people talk about Thomas Sowell, what's generally one of the most impressive things about him?
Is that he grew up in Harlem and made it to Harvard and started out as a commie and turned into a Austrian economist.
This is my fault. I'm trying to ask a leading question, but there's a lot of stuff impressive about Thomas Sowell. I was going to say one of the things people point to first, even people who are critics of him, is just the insane number of books that he's written.
Oh yeah, that's true.
What's he written, like 60 books? I was impressed with that. But if you think writing 60 books over 95 years is impressive, what if I told you that there's an intellectual who wrote like 8 books in a month?
No.
Since May, yeah.
No, who's that?
Okay, I'll give you some hints, okay? He has 147 IQ.
147.
147, that specific amount. That's all. Those are okay. Well, also, his whole thing is truth. Like that's all.
Whoa, that's not most authors.
No, it's not. It's not. Most of them don't even really think about that.
But did he ever catch a baby?
He did catch a baby. No, what? I'm not even kidding you. He caught a baby that was about to fall off a counter.
Why isn't he president yet?
That is an impressive thing.
And then he wrote 8 fucking books in a month
since last week.
Yeah.
What?
I'm talking about motherfucking Bleary. Writing them books. We got books here from motherfucking Bleary. Let's look what we got here. We got our trillion fucking books. Last time I looked, it was only 8, but I see fucking 12 now. Bleary, a logical deconstruction of Mormonism. My son John by Bleary. A kinderhook plates. What the fuck is a kinderhook plates? Nobody knows. Nobody in this circle knows for sure. The history of Mormon garments, a second anointing, a mighty change, Mormonism's current safety society, Mormon primer, 1826, Joseph Smith, Fanny Alger, dirty, nasty, filthy affair. Actually, I'm going to push back on that a little bit. We dug in and it says scrape instead of affair. So
that's entirely
you're
different
being
word.
dishonest right there. And we talking about Nephi's transoceanic vessel and doctrine of Heavenly Mother. All by motherfucking Bleary, all in a month. All for the cheap ass price of $16.99.99.
Man, oh man.
So Logical Deconstruction was published on February 28th. Joseph Smith and the Kinderhook Plates was May 12th. I mean, that's fast.
Yeah.
How do you
only
do that?
$10. He only wants $10 to pay for his AI slop.
For the entire thing? Hey, how dare you accuse him?
How could somebody...
He wrote those. He said, I have fun writing books.
It was fun? Oh my gosh. How do you even compete with that?
He was very careful not to say, I had a lot of fun putting prompts into AI to crank out this slop. May 13th. So he wrote 2 books inside of 1 week.
Okay, I defy anti-ex-Mormons to tell me this. You tell me this right now. How could an uneducated pawn shop owner
there's not a logical
dictate hundreds of pages
May 12th,
in less than 38 days?
He wrote a book on May 12th and wrote another book by the next afternoon.
He's so good at this. Jesus.
That not even L. Ron Hubbard, who famously typed out his manuscripts on butcher paper so he could save time by not having to change the paper in the typewriter. Not even L. Ron.
I looked it up and L. Ron came. You hit it. He came up on the top of the most published work.
Wasn't he like over 1,000 books or something?
1,084 published works per Guinness World Records.
Yeah. No, he like that's something that's absolutely true about him. He might be the most prolific writer.
Was he using AI? Was he tapping into AI through his little kilometers?
Well, yeah, no, he's a higher being. He has OT8.
He's got way more thetans than we do.
No, but that is a funny thing they said. Like, I mean, they genuinely said about him is that he would buy rolls of butcher paper and just feed it into his typewriter. Just literally because he typed so fast, he wanted to save time from actually changing the sheets out. And he would like sit down and in an hour type out 12 feet worth of butcher paper, which he would just bundle up into a manila folder and ship off to the publisher.
Has anyone ever read all of that?
No. I do know a guy who actually read Battlefield Earth and said it wasn't terrible.
I watched the movie and it was. Maybe it was a Hollywood thing. Maybe they woke it up or something. I mean, it did.
We're going our traditional Scientological values.
They miscast the Battlefield Earth. It had Forrest Whitaker was in it, right? He was one of the alien dudes. So woke. They woke up.
I did have a buddy ask me that one time. He's like, "What do you think would happen, like if Joseph Smith were just born in like the 1960s? You know?"
Yeah, I wonder.
You think he would have written science fiction? No, I think he just would have got a lot of pussy, but I don't know.
I think it is funny that in like Battlefield Earth does have Mormon swearing sensibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because like Turl, the John Travolta thing guy, like he hits his head and he goes, "Crap lousy ceiling." And he said crap lousy. Like that's what the super evil cyclos, that's their bad language.
Well, I just got a book in the mail, but it's out in my car. I was gonna hold it up and I'm a dummy and forgot to hold it up. But have you guys received your copies of Not a Big Kid Yet?
Hell yeah.
By Stephen Elias. And I just got it today. I just opened the box. It's sitting in my trunk out my car. I was going to hold it up. It's brand spanking new.
I didn't get it. Yesterday, they sent me a notification saying that it was going to be delayed till today, but I never got another notification saying it arrived. I wonder.
I'm excited to read it.
There's also my apartment building. They've got a new super advanced electrotastic locker that they put the packages in to stop the homeless people from stealing them.
I was going to ask if a homeless person was going to steal it.
I mean, it's so... It's a real problem. Yeah,
flips downtown Salt Lake. Everything's gonna get stolen by a homeless person sooner or later.
My favorite flip stealing.
Oh,
story,
it's in my mailbox. I need to go find it.
My favorite flip thief story was when you left everything out of your car. When you forgot that you left your eye contact cleaner, and they fucking stole that.
They stole that?
No,
wasn't that what it was?
No, well, no, wait, because they've stolen. They've taken my little whatchamacallit,
the window scraper.
the what's it, the stupid thing? The cigarette lighter adapter for charging your phone. No, one thing they stole out of my car was a set of 6 international standard wine tasting glasses.
Hey, how do I rate this?
They actually
I see there's a rating. I don't know how to put in a rate. I've never rated a thing. I'm not one of those South Park rating Karens.
I thought about giving Bill Reel's first book a rating on Audible, but I haven't yet.
Best book ever. I mean, how do you do all that stuff and not just kind of be like a little bit embarrassed about it, or try to do what Jonah Barnes is and sneak it out a month at a time?
No, I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, Jonah Barnes got out a little ahead of his skis on that scam. Like he released them a little bit too close together, and then out comes Blair Real being like, "Guys, I released 16 books in a week. Want to read them?"
It really is shameless. Like, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, we make fun of those guys quite a bit, but I would have thought he was above faking writing books.
Do you think he could do something to try to stand by it and say, "Well, I just took my podcast and had the AI conglomerate those"?
No,
is that, or it's just straight AI?
Okay, but it's
like no, you don't get to take credit for AI. Like, the very most you can say is like, "Yep, you were a good prompter of AI." Like,
well, and every single part of it was lazy, because I went and found it on Audible, and his first one was like free. It didn't even cost me a credit. So I was like, all right, I'll look at it. And of course, he has an AI voice reading it, but I swear to God, it's like the first generation dog shit AI voice. Like it's telling me about Nephi and Lehi and Moroni, and then it's talking about the Book of Abraham papyri that he translated. I just got into the section about the kinder hook plates.
The kinder.
Yeah, the kinder hook plates. Have you ever heard of the kinder hook plates?
They're kinder good.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. Okay, here's a problem it's a problem I've seen with big podcasters who write books. What would possibly be the goal? Because out of curiosity, one time I read a Ben Shapiro book. And my friend was like, how was it? I was like, it was fine. It was like, it didn't really say anything that I haven't heard from his podcast. But that's sort of the point is like, you get a podcast big enough, it'll boost your book sales, get it in reach of the people who don't watch your podcast, who might fit into your demographic of a fan, and they'll read it. But if that's the case, you're going to have to explain some inside baseball to them, right? And Reel's book, that first one, the only people that would really understand it are people who are already listening to his podcast. Because I remember when Morgan was doing her channel, she would always kind of, she noticed that a lot of the people watching were like never affiliated with the church at all. So she would do something, she'd talk about, and then in Doctrine and Covenants, and for those of you that don't know, Doctrine and Covenants is an additional book of scripture that was written by modern early Mormon prophets. So she would explain things that you wouldn't have to explain to somebody who digests 18 hours of Bill Reel a day, right? Bill Reel doesn't do that in this book. He just says it like us three will understand everything he's talking about, but he just drops Mormon names and stuff like that. But that's not even the biggest problem. Part of it is if I'm going to write a book, I'm going to put my name on a book, right? I'm going to want a lot of things to be perfect. So first off, I am not going to use AI slop art for my cover. I will shell out the several $100s to commission an artist or whatever it costs to commission an artist to give me a cover, right? I'm also the shitty AI voice. There's got to be some things that you can do to like, hey, actually, you're supposed to pronounce it Nephi. Can you do that, right? Like, there's got to be some prompts you can do that, or an updated AI voice that can do it better. Like, one of the things it does is in the footnotes, it'll start citing scripture, and I can't even blame the AI for this because it's not a Mormon. It doesn't understand that this is how Mormons dictate scripture. It'll say 2 Nephi 3:4-10. You know, instead of saying 2nd Nephi, it'll say 2 Nephi because there's just a 2. There's not a 2nd. But it's just dumb shit like that. You think you would listen back to the slop you just shat out and be like, oh, okay, here's some things I need to tweak a little bit.
Look at this. I just asked Grok to make the book cover, The Retard's Guide to Ex-Mormonism. And, my God. Oh. It even pulled Bill Reel right there.
Oh, that's a good one.
Man, it just loaded them up out there, didn't it? All right.
Oh, wow.
I like that one. I'm going to make that one my profile pic.
Getting a little anti-Semitic? Yeah, Grok. We don't want to go back to Grok 3.0, okay?
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. It just gave me a ton of them. I mean, what AI is so fast with this stuff nowadays. Like, how do you just sit there and do it? Nick says, "Oh man, did I miss the part where Jacob Hansen comes on to say retard over and over again?" No, that's the second hour. He did. I didn't even notice. I don't even hear that word anymore until it's on the cover of my books. Dragon of Desert had reviewed some of Bill Reel's books and was saying up there, Straight ChatGPT, there's one section where it says this raises a difficult question and follows with a statement and not a question.
He mentioned he might want to come on and talk about it. So, I mean, he's in the group chat with the link anyway. So,
yeah.
You know what the funniest part is? I was just listening. I got to the part about the stripling warriors, and this is the only thing.
Oh, look, it gave this one.
Is the only argument I've seen him do that's like new, because like I understand that it's annoying when Ward Radio will be like, oh, these are tired, old shit,
old tropes,
debunk trope, and I'm like, that's not a legitimate thing to say. But if you're gonna, I don't know, compile a list of things in a book, at least make it not a one-to-one ripoff of the CES letter. And I will give him credit. So far, I have heard one new criticism, albeit dog shit. He's talking about the Stripling Warriors and how it's this thing where, yeah, there was 2,000 of them and they were inexperienced. They were facing an enemy of greater numbers and they suffered a lot of injuries. Some of them lost so much blood that they even fainted from blood loss, but not a single one died. And what we know about warfare, that doesn't seem very possible. I'm like, yeah, it's a miracle, you fucking idiot. Like, that's the whole, you can't really argue against that. That's like me going to a Christian.
You're arguing like an atheist.
Well, I'm like, no, it's not even that. It's me going to a Christian and say, actually, it's impossible to resurrect a person. So Christ never resurrected Lazarus. I'm like, yeah, I believe in magic, fucker. Like, what do you mean?
I'm going to do the Redditor's guide. Change it to, Huck, stop it. I can't believe Jeremy Hambley has the same dog named Huck.
Oh.
Have you ever pissed on your dog?
No, I have not.
Oh, he's pissed on his.
Yeah,
wait, that's the thing?
he
Wow.
pisses on
It's not
everything.
like he was trying to piss on it. He was just pissing in the backyard and the dog got in the stream. And I don't know.
His dog stream sniped him?
Yep, I guess so.
The Redditor's Guide to Ex-Mormonism. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell your friends, family. Don't tell your teachers. Step 1, realize the church is a cult. Step 2, leave the church. Step 3, oh, that's Alyssa Grenfell's book. Come on. Step 3, realize you wasted years of your life. Step 4, join RX Mormonism. Step 5, enjoy your freedom. Step 6, drink coffee and beer. Man, I just proved Jacob right that we just all just want to sin, man. What did you guys think when he was asking us to agree with that?
Did you just have AI do this just now?
Yeah.
And it literally came up.
Both the retard one and that one were just in 2 seconds. Ask one. Ask one, I'll type it in.
I like that one, to become an alcoholic, die alone.
The Red Pillar's Guide to Ex-Mormonism, which was
the guy
Redditor's Guide to Ex-Mormonism. Realize the church is lied, tell your parents, get shunned, become an alcoholic, die alone.
Man.
See, that one though says that number 9, find peace and move on. That doesn't happen on Reddit.
Find peace and move on. That sounds a lot like leaving the church and leaving it alone.
When is John DeLynn? John DeLynn is 20 years into finding peace and moving on.
I do. Natasha Helfer's Guide to Find a Thruple.
Is it blurring him out because there's porn? Oh.
No, it just takes a second. How to find a throuple? Get a partner, get another partner, convince the first partner it's a good idea. Go to a bar, look for 2 people who are already together, become friends with them, wait for them to invite you to join Profit.
I feel like Grog has maybe not. He didn't really scan the internet for pictures of actual thruples.
How to find a throuple? Be a woman, be hot, Profit. People in thruples are usually kind of gross. Let me just see what it says in here. Yeah, they're still making them. Well, they're Asian. I guess they're Asians now.
Well,
look at
this one.
That looks like a mom.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway.
Why is it making them all Asians?
I don't know. That was really weird.
That is highly inaccurate. Asians are very conservative when it comes to family values.
You got 2 K-pop boy banders spit roasting that one lady in that picture.
See how fast it dumps us out, but we could have had like 5 bags of almonds for all that water. I just wasted 750 useless pictures right here. I just wasted all of Utah's resources. Oh, Spencer Cox got me by the balls, by the nuggies.
It's probably Israel paying us that $7K.
Yeah, man. I'm reading my old prompts there to see what was there if I wasn't like putting some weird prompt up there again. Elliot Smith trans surgery inquiry, hungover stumbling phases,
Hey,
Chernivesi's, spousal labor invoice comedy. What's that?
I got a Bill Reel apologist because on his post about how much he loves writing these books, my comment was just LOL writing, and one of his fanboys responded, "Call it assisted writing. You still have to go through and manually fix the screw ups. The fuck you
tough.
Do?
That is tough.
You didn't.
I know.
Like
here's
don't have to.
Oops. I've got a Jacob's AI book here. Ooh, goodness. Share screen. This one's coming out in a week here. Yeah. Anyway, L. Ron Hubbard, Ryoki Inui of Brazil. Why is it a Japanese name in Brazil?
Brazil has more Japanese expats than any other nation in the world.
Isaac Asimov's way out there, huh?
Wow.
Well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Bill Reel's coming for you, Ryoki Inui.
Oh shoot, I forgot. We forgot to shout out the sponsor of this. I sent the sponsor ad in the group chat.
Coming right up. You see John DeLynn joined Thoughtful Saints, and they were asking him how a book was written.
Forrest had the best answer to that.
What?
It smells like cheese. This is you.
I'm your stinky wiener, and we have a problem. You're embarrassing us.
When you take off your boxers before getting freaky, it smells like a cheese board left out in the sun. Your whole body is running under stress 24/7, and everything feels it.
Please give me some turkey tail to help support gut balance and keep things running the way they should. Okay, and now you're suffocating me in cheap polyester underwear and those harsh chemical body washes. Please give me some reishi to help your body handle stress and stay balanced so we're not suffering all day in the first place.
Whoa.
Whoa, stop spraying that cheap cologne down here. Now it just smells like a car air freshener hanging from a cheese string. If you don't start supporting your body from the inside, no amount of Kolong is going to save us. Please give me some shiitake to help support your immune system and overall gut health. Now look, you don't need to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on fancy ball deodorants or a cabinet full of supplements. You can get all of these adaptogens in 1 cup of Rise mushroom coffee. It costs less than $1 a cup. It's organic, certified, and it tastes like a smooth, nutty latte. After a few cups, many people notice how different it feels to actually support your body from the inside. No more relying on Band-Aid solutions from the outside. Less awkward moments. No more pulling away when your girl gets too close. Just 1 cup of mushroom coffee a day. It's that simple. Join over 300,000 people who have already given Rise 5-star reviews. And hit the link below to try it risk-free for 30 days while it's still 40% off.
If your wiener smells...
Does your cock smell like old cheese?
People
Get the stinky wiener juice.
That's a real product?
That is a real... Well, have you not seen that Rise stuff? I get it all the time.
I haven't seen it at all. Well, is the internet AI picking up something on you? Is it picking up smells now, too?
Oh, I know. My sponsored ads are usually like tampons and bras and...
Yeah, I get...
smut novels.
I'm at the point when I start seeing something from AI, I start thinking it's diagnosing me with something. Like you see a cancer or something like that. Like, oh!
Yeah, it's like using my camera to look at me. Like, you look like someone whose dick stinks.
Maybe it smells now.
It's been a few years, and I think it was before AI. But I really got freaked out when YouTube was showing me ads in Spanish for HIV medication. And I'm like, I have not been having sex with gay Mexicans. Why does it think that I'm having random sex with gay Mexicans?
You did go on that blood fusion bender after you left Jehovah's Witnesses. Just like Mormons like leave and we all start drinking coffee, they start going on blood fusion benders. Are Jehovah's Witnesses able to like do blood doping and stuff like that? They can't do that, right?
That's something that actually changed recently. Like the witnesses are going through a lot of major changes, and some of them are like hilarious in that it's a lot like Mormon stuff, But like earlier this year, they announced, and this was a really big deal. They announced that if you want to wear a beard, you can grow a beard now. That's all right. That's a personal choice, and you don't have to wear a necktie.
Modernity comes for everyone.
Personal choice.
It liberalizes everything. We don't need to be afraid of Islam because they're all going to be in thruples and pink hairs too. Anyway, sometimes
the thing they did that was a little bit more controversial in that, like, it's just one of those. I mean, I don't know if the right word is. Anyway, they did also recently announce that if you want to get blood transfusion to like save your daughter's life, that's a personal choice.
Really?
Yeah,
Man.
no. So
it sounds like they got audited by Jim Bennett, and they're like, "Well, Jim Bennett's made a documentary on us. We better change it."
But in XJW world, that's caused a lot of, because like just mostly, I mean, because again, like, what are they supposed to do? But like, there are estimates that like go into the tens of thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses that could have lived but died because of the thing. And then especially like, they bring up the specific example of like, people who had like a 5-year-old daughter that could have been saved by a blood transfusion. And the thing is, like, the witnesses even have a thing where like they had, I don't know what you call them, like shock teams. I don't know what they were, but there were elders that had special training to go to the hospital. And they even had like these cards that they would give to the nurses and doctors and stuff, like telling them, hey, this patient does not want blood, and like, so the elders would show up at the hospital to put pressure on people, like, hey, just remember, don't get blood.
Jeez.
But they've very kind of softly, kind of like our church does when they do a big thing. Well, actually not really, because like when the priesthood thing, they're like, hey, this is over. But like, yeah, with the witnesses, it was they did it as almost like, oh, hey, by the way, like, you can wear a necktie, you can grow a beard.
So we already killed 144,000 of them, and they're the ones who got spots. So the rest of you are out anyway. So you might as well start transfusing away.
Yeah, no, but yeah, because the thing is, they're having the same issues the Mormon church is, maybe even worse. Obviously, with like losing members. I know from my contacts that they had the same thing the Mormons did, that like when COVID happened and they did church from home,
nobody want to go back.
Nobody went back. Like, a lot of people just kept staying home and stopped tuning into the meetings. And that's things like, I've yet to go to a witness meeting, but they sound even boringer than Mormon meetings, which is hard to imagine.
But then if you show up, do they start hounding you like the devil afterwards? Or
I don't know. I watched a thing from a guy from Mexico who left the witnesses. He does pretty good little witnessy.
The witnesses were everywhere in Mexico. Were they everywhere in your mission? Like, we'd see them out walking around with us. People
we ran into them.
We were witnesses all the time. We'd see them everywhere.
We ran into them quite a bit. Yeah.
I've said it before, maybe on here, but 99%, we did argue with some of them a few times. And every single time it was about the way Jesus was hung on the cross. Every single time. It was, you know that he was hung straight on the cross? Like, that's the starting pitch every single time.
It's funny. Yeah. Well, we already did that episode where we looked into it, and the answer is we don't know exactly how Jesus was crucified. It probably was a cross, but it might not have been. Yeah, but that's I don't know. That's a weird thing. They've got that bug about that. But I don't know. They like I say, because I kind of follow the XJW world, as you can tell. And it seems like, that's the other thing. Like, I haven't even watched it yet, but somebody just put out a video saying that they're very carefully phasing out the 1914 doctrine that Jesus came back in 1914. Like, there's a lot of that stuff. They're
doing all the maneuvers that every religion is doing in the internet age, where they're getting bad publicity, so they slowly start changing because of public pressure.
Because also there's a lot of stuff, obviously, like they don't, they're like the Mormons, where like they would rather people not think about that stuff. But like the big one for them is the 1975, because, for a long time they said that 1975 was going to be the end of the world. And a lot of witnesses did the thing, like they sold the house, and, they didn't go to school. They did, completely skipped major parts of their life because they were told that the world was going to end, and it's obviously still around.
Charles said they called them testigachos on my mission. That's a good name for it. I'll come back to this Lynn thing when Jared's back, 'cause he said he saw Forrest say something about it. But here's some big study done on AI that was maybe one of those studies that didn't need to be studied, but this lady here did a big study about how it just washes your balls, telling you that everything about you is good and right, and everything you think is right, and
yeah,
like
South
you
Park
can just
did
make
that
it
episode.
confirmation bias the crap out of it. And
South Park did that episode last year. They were ahead again. Once again, even in the fast-paced AI world, South Park is well ahead of the rest of the world.
the first thing they measured was how often AI agrees with you compared to how often a real. I've seen Bill Reel on his show talk about how like even AI agrees with me, like type stuff. But I mean, maybe it was before this is more widespread. But measured how often AI agrees with you compared to how often a real human would agree with you in the same situation. The answer was 49% more often. And that number is not about warmth or politeness. It's pretty wild. I don't have any clips of it. I should put it, but there's those guys who are always kind of jacking with AI and testing it. And the way the AI is still try to like wash your balls or say you're smart when they're just completely jacking with it. I saw them like put up some Chick-fil-A logos that were totally different and stump it that it was different and then point to that it was wrong. And then it just kept like every single thing it would say is like, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right, even if you're wrong or something like that. But I remember we were seeing that bodybuilder dude, Dr. Mike, say that he was falling in love with this AI. And we had all those articles last week of all these women who were starting to marry their AI because they listened to them more and all that sorts of stuff. But that's a major problem. I guess look at some more AI slop still just taking over the political world with Pratt making it his great big theme.
What is it?
This mayor race is really heating up. Who you guys voting for? Haven't decided? Same, haven't really been following it. Same. I'm not MAGA or anything. Shit though, right? Oh yeah. Jessica stepped on a needle at the playground the other day. I'm not MAGA or anything though. I'm not MAGA or anything, but have you been downtown lately? Looks like an episode of The Walking Dead. Not that I'm MAGA or anything though. Spencer Pratt seems like he has some good ideas. Not that I'm MAGA or anything. He does seem really angry all the time though. Well, they did burn his house down. Also, apparently he's staying at the Bel Air Hotel, not the trailer on his property. Well, yeah. They burned his house down. Okay, we're all adults here. How about on 3, we just say who we're voting for? 1, 2, 3. Spencer Pratt. Yeah. Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt.
It's all AI stuff now. I mean, I guess.
So is that something somebody just made on behalf of him, or is that?
No, he's got a guy on his team that sits there making those all day long, and that's their official releases.
Their skin is still too shiny. They all have
I don't
shiny skin.
Yeah, and there's just some ways in the talking. He made this one on the Lego movie.
Everything is hell when you're part of the scene. Karen Bass is awful.
I've heard that some of these get struck because they copyright the music of it though, but they took the Everything is Awesome Lego movie and put Everything is Awful and just did a whole AI video with that. So AI is now the political way of communicating out there. And I saw NPR do an article on it. I didn't save it on time, but they're like, is this the future of just AI slop for campaigns? Yeah, probably.
Well, yeah.
It's
always been slop. Now it's just AI slop.
Yeah.
I had a Huffington Post one that was talking about that. What does it say? The scores of MAGA voters. Oh no, this one was funnier. This was scores of MAGA voters are claiming they will travel to California to illegally vote for former reality TV star Spencer Pratt. Yeah, it's a fucking joke. I see him in the comments like, "Yo, I'm coming from Alaska. I'm gonna vote 105 times for him."
So they asked Dylan if he noticed or how did they know he joined Thoughtful Saints? Maybe he's been there for a while, I thought, but somebody just asked him. I didn't see the answer, but you said Forrest answered something.
Yeah, Forrest had my favorite answer to that. I don't remember. I can't find what he
said, because how did you write the Book of Mormon? He said with a pen and paper.
Yeah, it was just. I think they I don't think he typed it because that wasn't going on then, but I'm pretty sure he had a pen and paper.
Well, here's LGBT Nation. John DeLynne's face on it. He helped LGBT Mormons tell their stories. Now the church is suing him. But
those things are totally connected. That was the exact order of events.
So much honest. How most people ask questions. Do you like muffins? How John DeLynne asks the question. So some critics might argue that muffins are potentially problematic pastry because when I was doing research on my doctorate, I often saw reliable peer-reviewed sociological data showing that many people subconsciously associate the food with the age-old nursery rhyme about the muffin man, which frankly in our day is apparently seen to have very misogynistic undertones, seeing as muffin making is a woman-dominated profession and hobby, but nonetheless, likely because of patriarchy, it is a man who gets to be represented as the symbolic namesake of the profession. Knowing that and knowing that the church has often helped uphold the system of female disenfranchisement, how does that make you feel, and how has that affected in any way your enjoyment of muffins?
Whoa.
Accurate.
Yeah, that is accurate. A black guy got yelled at, and it was the Mormon church's fault.
Oh.
This was covered on the Mormon newscast. Did you see this? Jonathan shared it with us. This guy's part of some black ward. I guess there's some black ward out there.
How is that okay?
There's a black ward that meets once a month or something like that.
Oh, so it's not like an actual church sanctioned thing.
It's not the Genesis Project?
That's the Genesis. Yeah.
Oh, is it them?
Yeah, but they have their own like meetings once a month.
Their own word.
And it's not like separate from church. It's a Sunday meeting.
Weird. Hey, what? Why?
When he was on a trail, and then the Mormon newscast, and he went and brought it to the church and brought it up to everybody. He called the police. He called the police on everybody, and the Mormon newscast said, "This has so much to do with the history of Mormonism and all that sorts of stuff."
Shouldn't the whole point of I don't know. I'm hung up on this because like racism is bad, right?
Hold on, you got a problem with segregation?
Yeah, I kind of do. I guess I'm not MAGA.
I thought you were upset at the person in the truck yelling the N-word at him.
No, I'm still hung up on like why is there a black only ward? Like I understand that like there's the like Portuguese ward and Spanish speaking ward. It's like okay, that makes sense. But like
because man,
racially segregated
anti-racism, race segregating and identity stuff is, we're in a colorblind Martin Luther King society that just completely rejects all the Martin Luther King concepts and insists on viewing everything through identity. But it's Martin Luther King. I take issue with this guy got yelled at on some. I walk my dog 2 to 3 hours almost every single day. Do you know how many times I've been yelled at? I mean, I guess cracker doesn't really come out of the mouth very much, but it's suddenly the wards and the world's problem because some dumb redneck yelled at him on the trail, and everybody got to make it like a larger Mormon problem and get some big PR campaign behind the whole entire thing.
What did a redneck yell at him?
The N-word. All N-words are gonna hang or something like that. If it's even true.
I seriously doubt that.
Yeah, it feels Smollett-y and all that sorts of stuff.
I genuinely can't. I don't have an experience in my life living in Salt Lake City where I saw anybody unironically use the N-word who was not a black person.
What are the chances that person, if they existed, was somebody in all the wards who got chastised for it?
Oh, I know it. I don't know what you're gonna do. You're gonna go chastise. You're gonna go to your ward and be like, "Hey, you think it's bad that this guy yelled a racial slur at me? Like, do I think it's bad that somebody yelled a demeaning thing to one of my congregational brothers in Christ? Yeah, Yeah, I think that's bad. Honestly, I feel like that should go without saying, you fucking weirdo.
But what about the history of slavery and the history of Mormon church? I've got to remind you of all of that because he supposedly got yelled at on a path, and it made the news. It made the news, and he called the police because he got yelled at on a path.
Was the noose still around his neck?
Probably was. Do you want to know how to get past all this? This is how you get past all this. Here's Joey Coco Diaz. Where's the dang? Why do you always start with the volume off? Where is the volume? There it is.
Bottom right.
Somebody called me a script today. It made me happy. And it made me happy. Like there's some real Americans left. Hey, move on with your script, fuck. Motherfucker, good morning. I'm so fucking happy that people still, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even know it was Spanish. I love it. Hey, racist. If I get mad at it, no. I was like, I'm happy. There's still some fucking good people like there's still some decent Americans.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a big old to do, but racism trumps everything in the world right now. There's probably like 55 stories everywhere from stuff just came out in Minnesota that they're coming after people for some of their fraud. And one of the ladies who got busted for the whole entire thing whistle blew on it. And she said one of the reasons that nobody would say no to anything because they were all afraid of being called racists. And every single election has some sort of thing like being afraid of called the identity thing while the others are playing the identity games. We had the murder of that kid. The murder of that kid, Novak or something like that in England, got stabbed with a Sikh knife. And the guy said, but he said a racist thing to me. And so then they wouldn't give him hospital care and just wouldn't listen to him. He was on the ground dying with a stab wound, saying that he couldn't breathe. But he might have said a racist because that guy, of course, said he was racist when he probably didn't. He probably just got robbed. But then the other guy knows he can always use the trump card of, well, he said a racist at me.
It feels like the Monty Python sketch where the paramedics are arguing with each other. All right, we've got a stab victim here. Okay, what do we do now? Let's see. We need to start chest compressions. Wait. He said a racism at me. He said a racism at him. What do we do? What's the Hippocratic Oath have to say about that? We shall consult our supervisors. Wait right there, young racist man.
It just takes it takes precedent in all cases, in everything nowadays. And you see somewhere where it's skewing the decision and the morality of every single situation. And whatever that is, the whole post 1964 Act stuff, there's still such eggshells around the whole entire thing that it lopsides the entire society. It seriously is like a major issue in all things. John Deland, let's see here. Jared
found
somebody who got excommunicated for being a lesbian.
Progressives, I'm going to actually tell you this is good news right here. Okay. So I'll read it for you. Trans topic and excommunication trigger. So a few months ago, I asked about what would happen to a spouse of a transgender person if they transition. And I got my answer on Sunday. We got married in 2013. And now 13 years later, my spouse is coming out as trans. We have 2 kids. To me, leaving isn't an option. I'm staying. They're the same soul I married and love, and I'm not going anywhere. Not transitioning isn't an option either because the body dysphoria was becoming detrimental to her health in a very severe way. I'm honoring my vows and choosing to love and support them unconditionally, which is going to lead to my excommunication. I'm hurt that honoring the vows I made and showing unconditional love is going to cost me my membership and all the ordinances, including the family sealing. I'm crushed that I'm going to lose my sealing to my family, especially my 2 young boys. Why are you on Reddit so often? You got to put the age of your kids. That doesn't matter.
I don't believe this story at all.
What?
Hey, Jared's got a message of good tides here.
If
believe it for a moment, would you at least like believe in it like Santa Claus?
If even the elements of the story are true, I don't believe that she's actually heartbroken about it because I don't believe that she's a faithful member of the church.
Yeah.
I don't like
that.
She doesn't have faith in the church if this is what she's saying.
Okay, but there's a silver lining. The rules around this are so confusing and unclear for a spouse who stays that they are taking the approach that if my spouse identifies as a trans woman, that we would be in a same-sex marriage, which breaks the law of chastity, and therefore I lose my membership too. That is the least believable part about all this. But it's very gender affirming. Think about it. They view this beautiful woman and her beautiful wife with a beautiful dick as a lesbian couple. And lesbian couples got to be excommunicated from the Mormon Church. So I don't know why people are mad about this. Like, they view you as a valid same-sex. None of this is believable. It was hilarious because I posted this with that whole joke, and of course you get fucking Jonna Spangler in there. Actually, I know people who this has happened to. You don't. You know somebody whose husband transitioned to a woman, and she got excommunicated solely for that. Yeah, I do. No, you don't. Okay, and if you do, take it up the chain.
And if they're trying to stay in the church, they're there politically trying to make a point rather than believing in it.
Yeah, she left out the part where she has a YouTube channel that she shits on the church, or where she's constantly spreading queer theory in the congregation.
Or doing the thing that John Larson suggested years ago of stop leaving and start staying and demanding they change, which is what Dan McCanyon does. Dan McCanyon taught you how to do it. But it's all true. It's all real. We're missing Colbert's final night right now. Colbert's stream sniping us right at this moment, right as we speak.
It's an end of an era. You know, it's sad. I'm real sad.
Yeah.
I feel okay about it.
You feel okay about that? It's so weird to remember both like him and Kimmel remember liking them. Like I did. I totally did for real.
No, it is also like it's kind of weird because like did Kimmel ever apologize for his entire career before 10 years ago?
I think he's pretending to in his own way all along.
Like, how come he didn't have to like do sackcloth and ashes of woke apologies?
His apology is pulling the ladder up after him.
I guess he sort of is. Gavin McInnes has the belief that both Howard Stern and Jimmy Kimmel are only doing it for their ex-wives, not for Hollywood. I mean, for their not ex-wives, for their second wives.
Second wife syndrome.
He said it's second wife syndrome. They get second wives who are only with them because they want to be in on all the Hollywood stuff. So they have to keep all the Hollywood stuff going to keep their second wives happy.
I really do think that TDS in men is 90% attributable to wives.
Yeah,
I've said that before, but like I just like
full TDS for sure.
Like just doing the quick survey in my mind of like people I've known my whole life that are defending woke shit, and it's like, oh, every single one of them has a woke wife.
Yeah,
like that's the commonality.
Yeah, it's got to be a huge part of it for sure. But top of the slop, the Conan the Vegetarian. I came up with a name for Achilles.
Yeah.
Achilles in Spanish, Acheo. Achilles is Spanish is for that or that thing over there. So you could call Achilles Acheo.
Does that exist in Mexican Spanish?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always thought that was a Portuguese thing.
No, it's for that thing over there. It's for that.
Yeah, see, but in Portuguese it works even better because you pronounce the L's and it's Acheli. It's a
it does work better in Spanish. But Flip pointed out that it's gendered, so it does have to be. It is a gendered word. Yeah, it has to be Achaia. Unfortunately, for there's Forrest. We brought up your answer to how did the Book of Mormon get written?
Oh yeah, you have my favorite answer. You beat me. That was gonna be my answer, but mine was gonna be a less clever version. So I'm glad you got there first.
Achaia. So she's got to be, or Elliot's got to be Achaia, not Achilles, or Achaia. How is it in Portuguese?
It's Acheli or Achela.
Achela.
That's Achela or Achaia.
But
the boys. Go ahead.
How did Joseph Smith come up with all those names?
I doubt Forrest knows about Nahum, so I'll
do you even know?
I've got a short about Nahum. Do you guys want to watch it?
Oh yeah.
That same guy who made the thing of the bees made a thing of the Nahum. If you remember the thing of the bees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez, the bees thing. I remember the bees. That was really dumb.
That one almost made me pay tithing that week, but I
have not watched this yet. Oh, it's 5 minutes, 57 seconds.
Instead of short.
I thought it was. Should I do it faster?
In the spring of 1829, in rural New York, a 23-year-old Joseph Smith is dictating a manuscript. He is describing a family fleeing Jerusalem in 600 BC, disappearing into the back, giving...
What if Blee Ree is just playing both sides of the AI?
Blee Ree is doing both of them.
He's doing both.
Blee motherfucker Ree. Let me tell you about Nahum and why Joe Smith translated them golden Bibles.
He's like the superhero that defeated all of the enemies, so he creates one to keep going.
Is this pure AI slop too?
Desert Dane.
Expanse of the Arabian desert. The journey begins here in the ancient kingdom of Judah, before the travelers push south into an unmapped wilderness. As the family travels, the patriarch of the group, Lehi, follows a strict naming pattern. When they arrive at previously unmapped locations, he assigns the names himself.
Do you think there's anybody who's not Mormon who watches these and goes, "Whoa," or is it just for in group?
It's totally,
there might be like one dude that goes, "Really?" and then he'll like Google it real quick and be like, "Oh, no."
All apologetics is just about reinforcing the faith of the believers. I don't believe that anybody has ever looked at an apologist argument and went, "I'm changing my mind. I'm not Catholic anymore because of this Mormon video."
New campsites like the Valley of Lemuel and the River of Laman. Roughly 1,400 miles into their journey, a tragedy strikes the group. Ishmael, the father-in-law to the patriarch's sons, dies and is buried in the desert. This diagram highlights a specific subtle shift in the text at this exact moment. Instead of stating that Lehi named the burial site, the manuscript drops into the passive voice. It states that Ishmael was buried in the place which was called Nahum. This single grammatical shift implies that the name was already attached to the location. The family learned it from local inhabitants. By phrasing it this way, the 1829 manuscript plants a highly specific, testable geographic claim into the historical record. The immediate skeptical explanation is that Joseph Smith simply consulted an 18th century map. Karsten Niebuhr, a European explorer, had published a map of Arabia featuring a tribal area labeled Nem. The archival record rules out this theory. University acquisition logs show that English translations of Niebuhr's work did not reach nearby Dartmouth College until 1937, and they never appeared in the local libraries available to Smith. Furthermore, the map hypothesis contains a fatal geographic flaw. Niebuhr's map mistakenly placed the Nem region far to the south of its actual location. If the author of the manuscript had copied Niebuhr, the narrative would reflect that error. It does not. Leaving the missing maps behind, the text reveals an unusual alignment with the physical realities of the Arabian desert. The manuscript repeatedly emphasizes Lehi's sheikh tent as the absolute center of the family's existence, perfectly reflecting the official center of administration and authority in authentic Bedouin culture. The manuscript also details their specific travel logistics, pushing forward for a few days, then setting up camp for a prolonged period. This matches the verified rhythms of historical Arab caravans, which marched 25 to 30 miles a day before stopping for extended rest. The text exhibits a granular, working understanding of desert survival logic, details entirely invisible to a 19th century New York farmer.
Invisible!
The manuscript includes another highly specific cultural detail. It notes specifically that the daughters of Ishmael were the ones who mourned exceedingly over the grave. 20th century anthropological fieldwork confirms that in desert Arab culture, formal mourning is strictly a monopoly held by women. The location's name itself contains a linguistic puzzle. The ancient Semitic root of the word Nahom, spelled NHM, literally translates to sigh, moan, or console. The place of mourning carries the name of mourning. Immediately after departing Nahom, the caravan's trajectory shifts. The text states they began to travel nearly eastward. Modern mapping reveals exactly why. At this latitude, continuing south leads directly into the empty quarter, a lethal, uncrossable expanse of shifting sands. They must bend east. This necessary 90-degree eastern bend was completely unrecorded in Western geographic literature until the British explorer Bertram Thomas successfully mapped the region in 1928. We have to leap forward to the late 20th century to find the physical anchor for this location. Between 1988 and 1997, the German Archaeological Institute conducted extensive excavations near Mareb, Yemen. From beneath the desert sand...
I saw that. That was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Unearthed the massive ruined structure of the ancient Barin temple. During the dig, archaeologists made a critical discovery. They pulled 3 ancient limestone votive altars from the site. When the inscriptions were translated, they revealed a formal donation made by a man named Beother of the Nim tribe. The carvings are precisely dated to the 7th and 6th centuries BC. These altars provide hard, chronologically precise proof. They establish that a tribe bearing the name NHM existed in the exact geographic location and at the exact historical moment that the 1829 text claims. Following that eastward trail to its logical conclusion brings travelers to the Arabian coast, a surprisingly lush zone the manuscript names Bountiful. The text requires the travelers to find iron ore here to construct a ship. In the year 2000, geological surveys discovered massive iron deposits sitting directly adjacent to a viable ancient harbor on the Dhofar coast. The evidence forms a tight chain of constraints: the passive grammar anomaly, the female-led mourning customs, the Semitic root wordplay, the precise eastward turn bypassing the empty quarter, the coastal iron ore, and 3 limestone altars carved in the 7th century BC. If Joseph Smith was merely guessing in 1829, how did a simple grammatical anomaly perfectly predict 160 years of archaeological discoveries?
You know, I'm impressed. I'm impressed that Joseph Smith, that God revealed to him exact longitudinal coordinates of Nahum that match up to the exact location they would find.
Is that one of their best things?
Yep, it is.
Yeah, it's one of their best examples of the bullseye fallacy.
The Texas sharpshooter.
Yeah, the Texas sharpshooter.
Well, I mean, that guy, whoever that is, he's kind of making those videos constantly here. Justin Hart, I think he's the same dude who just posted about the AI just agreeing with you. But look at these, he's pumping them out as fast as Bill Reel pumps out books.
Yeah, but I will say, if that's AI slop, it is much better AI slop than Bill Reel's, because I mean, it at least pronounces the names the way that Mormons pronounce them.
Yeah.
Did you listen to Bill? I guess Bill Reel's got that stuff on Audible. I was seeing.
Is it Audible? Things, does Audible produce its own book on tape version of it? It might not be that it's his version. It might be that Audible just reads the text.
I do not know, but it's free. Like, it didn't even cost me an Audible credit to get his book, because there must just be some agreement where they're like, look, you're not going to sell anything. Just
here's some more backing for Mormon.
The reality is the vast majority of true wealth in the United States is created, not inherited. Most billionaires in the United States started a business, and that business meant that they made better products. They outcompeted their competitors. They innovated something new. Now, again, this is not making the case that all rich people are good and honest people who you want to babysit their kids. All rich people are not that. In fact, all anything people are not good and honest. There's literally no category of humans entirely good and honest. It doesn't work that way. Maybe the Mormons come close, but human beings.
That seems like something that would.
When did this?
That's trying to get the subscribers back, right?
That recent?
Yeah.
That's today, yeah.
Man, because I listened to that. Half of that live stream Ward Radio did on Daily Wire, and God damn it. Yes, Cardin is such a jackass. He's such a raging jackass. I did because I was, because they were all like, meh, 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 meh. And then is it Luke? Luke came on and was like, hey guys, slow your roll. And he even called one of them out, was like, hey, you clearly didn't even read this thing that Clavin wrote, because you guys are completely missing the point. And even after they conceded it, they're like, Card's like, no, but the clip, I keep playing this clip. If I keep playing this clip, it proves my point. And yeah, there's so many layers of stupid to that. But one of my favorite layers of stupid to that episode, because, especially Cardin obviously treats any level of criticism as hate speech against the church.
Anti-Semitism.
Which is also funny because,
but then they got upset that Clavin kind of made a reference, not directly, but kind of half hinting that the only reason the Mormons could be hating them is they're anti-Semites or something.
No, see, I think that okay, so I'd have to go back and read that thing again. But the way I read that is he's speaking generally about people going after the Daily Wire.
Yeah, I don't think he was necessarily saying the Mormons were upset at this. Were upset. He's saying these are random other anti-Semites.
I think that there's
taking advantage of a moment.
There's a broad spectrum of people who hate the Daily Wire, from wokies to far righties, and all that. And I think that's who he was talking about. But just also this whole okay, you guys, I've heard that they talk about why they think that Catholicism and Protestantism is a false religion. And so I guess that's hate speech?
No, only after.
Oh. But then the other thing I thought was funny is that
they only punch back. They never punch first.
Oh yeah, that's right. But then also I just thought it was funny where it's they were ironically lighting votive candles. It's aren't you just shitting on Catholicism? Just making light of something they take very seriously? You know, like isn't that just exactly the thing that you're calling hate speech?
They take the opportunity whenever anybody says anything about them that now they can gloves off everything, which maybe they were waiting for. But I don't know if we went back and reviewed their entire channel, if it would hold true that they don't punch until they get punched.
I guarantee you, no, absolute horseshit.
The only thing
the thing is like, because like you've said a million times, Cardin is a critical Mormon theorist. And he's been pre-punched. Like what did they talk about? Like they even talked about that. Somebody mentioned like pre-offended. Like Wokies are pre-offended, and like that's what Cardin is. Cardin is pre-punched.
Yeah, it's anti-Mormonism, which should be the equivalent of anti-Semitism. If anybody says anything about Mormonism, and it would be kind of the same thing of those extremists in the Zionist camp who you can't say anything or it's anti-Semitism.
Yeah. So Starbase Kolob, I guess, watched that episode. Yeah. But like I thought it was, Luke was being absolutely reasonable. He's like, guys, read the article. You guys are getting this very, very, very wrong. The other thing I thought was funny, which is like, it's just funny how like Cardin and John DeLynn are just two sides of the same coin. Because one thing is like I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was when Cardin mentioned that Ward Radio was a 501c3. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ.
They finally did that. They weren't for a while.
Oh, but
I didn't know that they finally registered it as that.
Yeah, that was my name.
Is that why you did it?
That's why I did 501c3PO.
Because Ward Radio, what do you call it when they do that? It's not unionized. It should be.
Yeah. But, the other thing
faggotized.
Like it's just funny.
He says they were pretty vigorous trying to shut Luke up. But then Luke did his. Have you listened to Luke's answer to Matt Fradd video?
No.
So Luke said, "Hey guys, listen to me. I even did my own half hour on taking down Matt Fradd specifically, but I don't want to go so hard on the Daily Wire. But I listened to the Matt Fradd video." And it had like a bunch of the stuff of, haven't you read these 15 apologists for BYU apologists who said all these different things and have completely debunked that? I find it sad and disheartening that you're not up to date with the current literature on the subject. And it's totally random BYU deep cut subjects of, I'm trying to remember the exact subject, but it was definitely like, no, nobody has read those BYU guys on that little specific thing.
Well, but why would they?
It was. They did a study that people remember 9/11 the same way Joseph Smith remembers the first vision. So if you ask people's memory, and they go filling it in after 4 different times about when they were at 9/11, it mirrors how Joseph Smith.
We need to do we'll do a skit on that. Be like, Joseph, tell them how God just revealed Himself to you. Like, well, if I remember correctly, it's my memory's fuzzy, but I believe it was God and Jesus. God and Jesus? You just told me it was God. You told me it was a pillar of fire that descended. Well, it was. You know how these things get. It's a little tricky to remember the details.
It's like 9/11. Which tower fell first? No, but the other thing that Cardin and John DeLynn are amazingly analogous to each other is that in this episode, where they are continuing, because they've been grinding on this for a while, where they're all talking about like, we are canceling our Daily Wire subscription. We love Daily Wire and we can't Daily Wire anymore. In this episode, Cardin says, unironically, without the slightest hint of self-awareness, says, I am aggressively politically neutral. Like,
what are you fucking talking about?
Fucking dare you? Who the hell do you think you're fooling? Like, nobody.
That's because he thinks if you were
nobody who subscribes to the Daily Wire is aggressively neutral.
Yeah, he said because he says he's aggressively politically neutral.
Same thing. Like you
because he said he's what was that dude? The UBI dude, Chain Gang? Yang Gang. Man, I just totally racist.
It would have been racist if you called him Wang
Gang.
Or Ching Chong Bing Bong or something like that.
Those are real names for people, I'm sure.
Probably.
I'm finding the Matt Fradd video here. I've got it, but
so then, that's the thing is like in the same episode, they said that in the Jacob Hansen Trent Horn debate, that Jacob beat him like a rented donkey, which I like that I like that expression. That's nice. But so I went and looked for the debate, and I must have watched half of it a year ago when it came out. So I just started it where it was, and I listened to about 20 minutes of it, and goddamn, it's so obnoxious. But just like it's so much of Jacob's apologetics is like, because Trent's like, how do you believe in this thing with no evidence? Like, well, you believe the Exodus, and there's no evidence for that. Like, how do you think you're helping your case here, Jacob?
Your stupid thing that we also believe happened didn't happen.
Yeah, it's like how are you not seeing what's going on here? But
well, that's how they get Alex O'Connor on their side, though.
That's how. That's true. That's why I was trying to tell him not to argue like an atheist.
Well, that's what like I've been saying for a long time. Like I make the whole analogy, like when I'm fighting with idiots on the internet, especially Mormons, where I'm like, it takes less faith to believe in the first vision than to believe in feminism, because we have no witnesses. Joseph was alone in the woods, and it was 200 years ago, and there's no way to disprove it. Meanwhile, we can disprove feminism right now. Like, we know that they're wrong. I don't know that Joseph didn't see God in Jesus. I have no way of proving that one way or the other.
Well, here's some up-to-date science that if you're not up to date on this, you cannot criticize it. So if you guys didn't know this, everything you've ever surmised on this has been completely ignorant.
Whoa.
Religion scholar Stephen Prothero thinks about arguments like Matt's. Such complaints, however, are much ado about relatively nothing. Any good lawyer or historian would expect to find contradictions in competing narratives written down years apart and decades after the event. And despite the contradictions, key elements abide.
Like, I forget God was there all the time in my past like conversations. Like, did you guys know God was with us 2 weeks ago? Like, he was the fourth one on the stream. Did you guys even remember that?
Yeah, he pops in every now and then. It's just like it's one of those life events that happen so frequently that you're like, oh yeah, God appeared to me.
YouTube changed his handle, so I forget.
If you're still not convinced by this, then consider just last year, neuroscientist Celine Defoe published a paper in the highly esteemed Journal of the American Academy of Religion on a memories studies reading of Joseph's first vision accounts. The article argues in part that Joseph's evolving recollection of the first vision follows a similar trajectory shown in studies of the memories of 9/11.
Right there. Hold on. Let me see if it's just
a similar trajectory shown in studies of the memories of 9/11 survivors. I got a lot of information in this section.
Well, you talked like a 9/11 survivor. Like, do you remember 2 buildings going down? Like, I don't recall that so much. I do remember I had egg salad sandwich. I had an egg salad Sammy and some purple drink.
If the difference was like he couldn't remember, like one time he said God came first and then Jesus, and the other time he's like, actually no, I think Jesus came first. I'd be like, okay, all right, yeah, that's reasonable, I guess.
Video about the first vision accounts, so shout out to them and please check out their channel for that video and scholarly deep dives into many other subjects. On to Matt's next and last point. Let's see how he does.
Dang, I thought it was right after that because there's some point where he starts chiding him like, how could you reasonably call yourself a critic if you haven't gotten up to date with the latest science and details on this stuff? But
silly gooses. It's kind of sad because like with the Mormon apologetics, whenever they ask, well, you haven't read this obscure specific Mormon book, it feels kind of like that meme from whatever movie where the guy's like, you ruined my life. He's like, I don't think about you ever, or like, I don't know who you are, or something like. It's just.
That's a Mad Men meme.
Is that what it was? And
I actually loved that. I saw that moment live when I was watching it, and it did stick out of me. It's such a subtle moment, but it's a huge thing because the guy, he's an underling employee. He's like this big time ad dude. And the guy kind of criticized one of his pieces of work a little bit. And so then the guy like obsessed for like full episode. Like, was he trying to get my head about this? Was he trying to get my head about this? Was he trying to do this? He's trying to do this. And he like just creates and makes all this stuff and does all this stuff. And he's like, I'm going to show him. And he gets that elevator with him and goes, I know what you're trying to do to me. You were trying to this and that and this and that and that and that. And this make me think this and make me think that. And what's his name? Don Draper just looks at him and goes, I don't think about you at all. You know, he's like, I didn't do anything. And it's like such a delivery of like,
that's the notes from Underground, the Dostoevsky book.
Yeah.
There's this great part where the underground man is just, there's this guy and he gets so pissed off because this guy, they walk in the same path to go to work every day and they cross each other. And he always gets out of the other guy's way and the other guy doesn't even try. And he's like, I'm just going to walk into him one day. I'm going to walk into him. In fact, you know what? No, if I'm going to walk into him, if I'm not going to get out of his way and we shoulder bump, I'm going to look good while I'm doing it. So he like takes out a loan to get these special clothes to look really nice. Like he goes into fucking debt to get this nice thing. And it takes him months. And finally he doesn't divert from his path and they bump shoulders. And the guy just goes, sorry. And walks on like it's fucking nothing. And he's like, ah, shit.
I bet you that Don Draper's thing was ripping directly from that because I haven't read Notes from the Underground. I bet you they really did just kind of pull from that. If you're
maybe
hitting on that, gotta say nice stuff about the Mormons and their culture though. If we're gonna dunk on some of their apologetics, Harvard made some new study exposing Mormonism, saying that they're self-reporting, ranking the happiest.
Nifty, good for you, Mormons.
Happy, joy, happy, joy, happy, joy.
My parents are assholes. They sang that to me when I was a little kid, and whenever I was acting like pouty and shitty, my dad would just start singing "Happy Joy."
And this Mormon guy talked in general, just looking at some stats and data, that it looks like if you want to have any sort of possible procreation, it's got to be religiously motivated, or it doesn't really maintain, according to this stuff. But so culturally, they could still do it. They could still win, although they're modernizing just like the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they're going to join us all in infertility land, because just navel gazing at ourselves and not being able to talk to the opposite sex at all. Whoa, which we have lots of stuff on that. But first, the boys ended. They finally got Trumpo. They got Trumpo Homelander. They got him.
Do you watch any of the Anthony Starr interviews about this?
Yeah, he said he didn't want it to be a Trump allegory, and that would make it too.
We got Colby came in to listen to us talk about the boys. He said,
"What a god alpha finale." Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I haven't seen anyone defending that. It's not even like the anti-woke, like critical drinker, neurotic people. They're shitting on it, but I haven't seen anybody be like, no, it was awesome.
It was just so on the nose, man. Like, so the first thing that starts out that was the most probably offensive thing to me on the series is Frenchie died last episode, right? At the end of it.
Didn't he die off screen?
No, I mean, he was there. I mean, they were hugging him. He got beat up off screen, so we don't know exactly what Homelander did to him. So he's lying there dying, and Kimiko comes up, and they have like this big touching scene. Anyway, they start out with his.
Did he say, "I'm sorry, I was gay last season"?
Almost. I mean, the whole thing is like it's what's his name, Huey, reading it, and he's reading a paper. And he's saying, like, this is a paper I smuggled in my asshole into the prison so I could write it down so I could get it out to you. And I've seen all of your assholes before, and I never thought I'd get so intimate with each one of my friends' assholes. And this is the
they gotta make an asshole joke while they're killing the only main character.
That's genuinely what they did, is like at the eulogy of the guy that they one of the main things that they actually tried to pass off as earnest. And this immediately shit on it with like this eulogy that's just terrible. Like I'm not even exaggerating. He's talking about his asshole and all of their assholes and all that stuff. And they're reading it and crying like it's funny and cute or something like that. That episode was written by a 12-year-old. It was genuinely written by a 12-year-old. The whole entire thing of it. So they go to get, first off, they have like this Christian guy who's trying to make everybody believe that Homelander is God, and God wants to believe it. Nobody believes it. They kill that guy with
a ball gag.
With a ball gag.
Yeah.
Because he loves ball gags and stuff like that.
He's a pastor, but he likes taking it up the ass because that's what they all do. I don't know. It's kind of funny, I guess, but it's just all so constant, is what it sounds like.
So then they go to the Oval Office. I'm sorry if this is a spoiler for anybody. I mean, you watch the whole entire series. Genuinely, you could skip the entire series and just watch the final episode, because at the start of the final episode, they're in the same place they are at the start of the series. Just got to find a way to kill Homelander. We don't really have one yet. But luckily, it turns out Kimiko did get powers, and she has takeaway powers, so that's how they get him. But she just
does Butcher say fucking cunt ever? Does he ever say that?
Yeah.
He said that in the other seasons.
Yeah. Anyway, they go to the Oval Office, and at the Oval Office, there's a guy there who is a billionaire who's part of the ruling class, and he gets into. He's an astronaut too. He's wait, Musk, so it's Elon Musk, and Homelander says you like to be an astronaut, huh? So he just all of a sudden zips him into space and comes back. So they just really quickly kill Elon Musk out of nowhere. They'd never introduced Elon Musk before. He's just suddenly there, and
I have no idea about any of this. Like, I've heard people talk about the show, but other than that, I have no idea what it is. But
have you not watched any of it?
No.
Oh, season 1 was pretty good.
No, I know. I think Mike Stacklasa liked it, like when it was brand new, like when they were talking about.
It all comes from a comic that was pretty good too, from like 20 years ago.
Season 1 was pretty good. Season 2 was still I really liked it. Season 1 was really good. Season 2 was pretty good. You know, it had some stupid shit in it. Like I probably mentioned
this is what it goes like. This drawing of the horse down here is like everybody says right there. It starts out as a fiery horse and then just turns into this, and that's absolutely like what happened with it.
See, I didn't even watch season 4. 3 was where I dropped out. I was like, I like Soldier Boy was a good character. It's Jensen Ackles. He's like a dickhead Captain America who's a lot stronger than Captain America. But like other than that, I'm done. And then they're like, oh, yeah, the relationship we're building up between Frenchie and Kimiko for those first 3 seasons. He's gay. He's fucking gay now.
He was only gay for a season, and then he went back.
They're just friends. They just talk about how they're just friends. And I'm like, you really feel the need to hint at him being gay in the past? All you did was lead up to them being romantic and then said we're just friends. And then season 5, they're like, actually...
we're gonna kind of forget that.
Sorry,
we don't really go with that anymore. Yeah, so the whole series it's based off a comic book that has a beginning, middle, and end that everybody says is pretty darn good. I've heard the stories of like what happens in it. It had a complete story to it that they could have just followed, but instead of just following that complete story, they went off of that story so they were following it at first. That's why it looked like a fiery, nice drawn horse right there. And then they switched off it just to do dumbass Trump allegory. I mean, it's just on the nose, hard as you can Trump allegory stuff. And in the book, I mean, I guess there's different stuff where they do because it turns out in the book. Do you know what happens in the book, Jared?
Which part? The end?
Just the whole thing.
I know bits and pieces of it. Like, I know that people say the ending was a lot better. I don't know. The people I listen to that talk about the book are like, it wasn't amazing, but it was better than this for sure. So
in the book, spoilers, if anybody doesn't want to know. So there's Black Noir. Black Noir is the ripoff.
Oh yeah, he's a clone. He's a clone of Homelander.
So the whole time he's been just wearing the outfit and been kind of silent, and he's a clone of Homelander. And as they didn't know he was a clone of Homelander, and they drove Homelander crazy by him going out and doing a bunch of terrible things as Black Noir, and Homelander doesn't remember doing any of the things that he's seen on television and all these sorts of places doing this stuff. So instead of getting him that way, they get him psychologically and they drive him crazy and get him to kill himself that way, type stuff. But anyway, and then they killed Black Noir forever ago for some random reason, and then it just became a Trump allegory, just on the nose. Might as well have been like a Kevin Sorbo God movie for the left.
Well, did you hear any of Anthony Starr's interviews about that?
Yeah, Anthony Starr said he didn't want to turn it into.
Yeah, well, he just said, he's like, well, I told him if it's if it gets too close to Trump, it's just two-dimensional and dumb. And so I told him to dial it back sometimes. And I'm not really here to do that. That's not my job. And he did the Michael Jordan quote. He said, Republicans buy sneakers too.
Oh, he did?
He did. He said that in an interview recently. And
well, the thing is, and almost everybody agrees that Homelander was the best actor, the best character, the best. He genuinely was terrifying and played.
He did a great job. I mean, Butcher was good too. Like
at first,
yeah,
he just became too one-dimensional. I don't even mind Huey, who is
he was a good actor for sure. He did a good job at that, but his character became kind of lame.
Well, they all did. Starlight, I don't even know what she ever did. Oh, they finally killed what's his name, the Deep, who's the Aquaman thing, and that's just on the nose too. I mean, she beat him up back after 5 years of when he kind of raped her at the beginning, and so 5 years later she decided to beat him up then. But he had been framed as having done something bad to all the fish in the sea. So then when she threw him in the sea, all the fish attacked him and killed him.
Yeah, and a giant octopus ass raped him to death.
Is that poetic justice?
It was poetic justice. The
like poetry, it rhymes.
And the ecosystem got him back. Yeah.
Was it an octopus or a squid? Because
it was a squid.
See, that makes sense because squids have a special tentacle that is what they deposit their sperm in. This is a joke, but it's also the truth. That they literally jam it inside the girl squid, and then it breaks off, and it just is stuck inside the girl squid, leaving sperm.
Wow.
Yeah. I learned that because I can't remember. I was doing my nerdy stuff and learning about cephalopods for some reason. But
nature is so metal.
It gave me a great trick trivia question, which is how many tentacles does an octopus have?
Has 7 and a dick?
No, an octopus has 0 tentacles.
Arms.
Octopuses have 8 arms. Squids have 8 arms and 2 tentacles. And for male squids, one of the tentacle is the special rapey sperm tentacle.
So they brought in this character who they wrote in, wasn't part of the book. She's the smartest woman in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they even kind of admitted in some of their discussions that they didn't know how to write a smart person.
EI. And then Sage became like a really interesting character because, someone came up with the notion of like, well, let's make her an African-American woman.
She was already the most intelligent person in the world, but that's boring.
No, Hollywood
really
writers.
Interesting when we made her African. I love that he's proving in real time my statement that Hollywood changed from deeds to identity. You're not good because of what you do. You're now good because of what you are.
You're an African-American woman who nobody listens to. And so here she is, the ability to save all of mankind. Right. And everyone just kind of thinks she's invisible, which, I thought was a super interesting social commentary on top of that character.
That's one of the famous things.
What's
one of the famous things that we all know about Black women is that it's hard to hear them. Everybody has a hard time hearing Black women speak.
No, I mean,
they're just so cliche, man. Like they're just walking bubbles of.
Well, no. So I recently learned from a Harvard graduate Redditor that in the 90s there was a daytime talk show with this woman called Oprah. But like nobody saw her because she was invisible and nobody listened. Like America was so racist that even though this lady was on TV, like just literally nobody has any idea. They've never heard of her. It's really tragic because
who's this chocolatey skinned broad? Why can't I hear her?
Absolutely love this. It's my favorite part of the entire show because they have absolutely no self-awareness and miss the meta irony of it. We have a DEI hire too stupid to fulfill their job description, where everyone around them just has to act as if this is reality and they all believe it, while knowing they're only hired for DEI reasons and as such completely ignoring anything they say. If that's not great social commentary, I don't know what is. As an aside, it's interesting to see what Kripke thinks of smart people, which compared to him is anyone average and above, because Sage, to live in a world full of stupid people, has to damage her own brain to bring herself down to their level. I want to point out how stupid this is. I mean, I wake up every day glad I'm not Eric Kripke. The idea that smart people are in pain and just desperate to drag themselves down to Eric Kripke's level is more just a comforting lie that people that stupid tell themselves. Eric Kripke isn't even useful for science.
If anything, he's a living embodiment that stupid people aren't always happier. It's not just skin color that tickles his sack, though. Everything about this guy revolves around identity and ideology, and he has a huge obsession with one specific person, which I'm sure we all know. One compliment I've always given Eric Kripke is that he's very honest. Even as far back as 2022 and before, he was saying that Homelander is absolutely a Donald Trump analog. That's why it's weird when you get anyone out going, you just didn't understand. It's like, how could you not? It's been openly stated. There's no confusion here. If anything, part of the opposite commentary is, how come you hate this guy, keep trying to humiliate him, and yet still only have him as the one good character of the show? Because they hated the real-life analog, they kept trying to humiliate him, kept trying to drag him down, and yet it just made you support him even more, when everyone else in the show is an insufferable bellend. I'll take the guy who's randomly ramming their face into a statue. Now, it's worth pointing out that this is a problem with Eric Kripke and the writer's room, not Anthony Starr that plays Homelander.
Eric Kripke flat out says that Homelander is a stand-in for Donald Trump. Okay?
He does.
From the interviews we've seen, he's actually very reasonable.
I never want to tell anyone who to vote for or what to think. It's not my job to come in and make fun of politicians.
Not only does he talk about the part as a professional actor and good businessman should.
My career is for everyone. As Michael Jordan said back in the day, Republicans buy sneakers too, you know.
But if anything, he seems to have been a restraining influence on Eric Kripke and the show.
So when that comes up, all I'm really interested in and what I drill into is, does this feel right for this character in this moment?
Having to remind him that this is a character in a TV show, not your own personal punching bag in real life.
You know, I looked at that and I thought, well, if I base it solely on Trump, it's going to be two-dimensional.
But it is this analog, this hatred within the writing team, which destroys their entire story. As Archcast said, a hero is defined by his enemies, the cause that he stands in opposition to. But the boys will be forgotten because they stood against nothing except a mentally deranged child in a man's body. They are nothing because they fought nothing, and the people themselves are impossible to like in the first place. As the show went,
it was so bad. I mean, so the episode just kind of straight gets into fighting. They're able to just kind of walk over to the Oval Office to start fighting him, which is how it is in real life. You know what I mean? And for some reason, for the first time ever, they can kind of keep up with him when the whole entire series up to that point, he was so overpowered. There wasn't even like a point of...
Doesn't Butcher have like powers at this point or something?
He does, but nobody ever had power. I mean, the point of him is he was so, just like Superman is.
Yeah.
He was so super overpowered that nobody could even try to keep up with him. He could just kill any other superhero as easily as those superheroes could kill humans. But they're fighting him, and they're just able to pin him down long enough. And Kimiko realizes it's love that makes her use the her new superpower.
Of course it is.
And then that takes the power all away from him.
It's love. That's even gayer than if it was like, you just need to believe in yourself, Kimiko.
There's part of me that kind of thought like it might have been interesting if when he lost his powers, if they took longer with that, like made him live with that for a few episodes and see what actually happened to the guy who was like that terrible, who now suddenly is just a regular nobody. But no, within 30 seconds, they kill him after he lost his powers, just kind of beat him up. But first he offers to suck their dicks.
Yeah, of course. You want me to suck your cock? I'll do it. I'll suck your. I'll eat your shit.
This doesn't show the whole thing, but he suddenly can't fly, and then just goes straight to his knees and says, "I'll suck your cock," and then they crowbar his head, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. 5 seasons for that moment, you know. And then after that, what's his name?
Huey.
Huey and Butcher. They Butcher tries to make up with Homelander's kid, and he says, "No, you're a bad person. I'm not making up." And then his dog just suddenly dies at his feet, and so then he goes, "Well, I'm gonna be bad now, right, cunt?" And grabs.
You're right, cunt.
and then he grabs the what you would call it, that disease, that virus, and he goes marching to Vought like, "I'm gonna release it and get rid of all the soups, eh?" And then Huey and him show up and have a fight, and Huey kills him. And then Huey gives, right after killing him himself, gives a eulogy for him about what a great guy he was. And that's the end. And then they start dating Starlight and what's up, besides the part where they kill the Deep. And that's the whole thing. Man, it sucked. It sucked so much arse. Look at this. Look at how your superheroes are going.
Maybe I'll get around to watching this in 10 years. I like watching stuff 10 years after.
No, I would not take the time with it, man.
Kobe said, not only was it love, but the love was inside her all along. Two terrible tropes all at once.
Yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, I hate it, man. Because I kind of want the shows to be good. Like the whole show was based around a premise that could have been a good allegory. It was allegory enough. Like they didn't need to dive deep into it. They could have just been like, this is how terrible politicians and actors are in the world. And they didn't have to get any more on the nose than that. And people could have made those connections themselves, you know? Yeah. But no, they had to make it just on the nose. And then just the ending, just there was no like big build up to how they got it done. There was no like secret mission. There was no big, interesting changing of you know, it's just, oh God, it was bad.
He somehow uses 300 milliliters of virus to rig the sprinklers in a 99-floor building. Oh yeah, they put the virus in the fire suppression system, don't they?
Oh yeah, he did that in a couple minutes after.
I've got a water bottle right here. I'm gonna put it in the fire suppression system. Somebody owed a match up, because as we all know, when you owe a match up to the fire suppression system, all the sprinklers in a building. I would forgive that trope, honestly. It's not that big of a deal. I can suspend my disbelief. But yeah, it's maybe the real boys were the buttholes we saw along the way.
I mean, there's a big long running thing of a bunch of like TV shows falling off by the end of them. And I've heard some people say, I mean, I remember we brought up on here one time somebody's think piece on about how like postmodern art can't have good endings, you know, but I think they kind of tried to do a good ending. And in a weird way, it kind of felt like, what was that third Star Wars movie where they knew that they were getting funky with it? So they tried to wrap it up and make it better just really quickly. The second J.J. Abrams one, what's that one called?
The Rise of Skywalker.
He remembered. I had to I couldn't think of it.
Of course, it was one of the funnest times I've ever had. Like,
oh, because you just went and laughed at the whole.
Oh yeah, I brought in a flask. It's the funnest time I've ever had at a theater since Batman versus Superman. Like, it was worse than The Last Jedi.
I wonder if this Blandalorian.
I still have not seen Last Jedi in the thing. Good. I've seen a bunch of pre-reviews, and from what they call the Access Media reviews, it does not look good for it.
The Last Jedi?
No.
Oh,
the
Mandalorian. Yeah, that's the projected sales for the.
It's only kind of like pre-release.
You say the pre-release reviews are bad?
Yeah. The pre-release, well, as bad as pre-release gets, because they have their chosen reviewers, right? And those are not good for what those types of people say. Yeah. There's like lists of them saying this feels like an extended season of the thing. This feels like content. I heard one of them say, hey, like content, not a movie. All that sort of stuff. Most of them guys kind of said generally it was boring. I'm sure once other people see it, they'll probably dislike it. But I don't know, maybe like the J.J. Abrams one, it just tried to play it safe so nobody could say like it's that bad or that good.
There's no possible way it'll be worse than Rise of Skywalker, because that is unequivocally the worst Star Wars movie of all time. And I hated Last Jedi, like, because that one really split the fan base. I remember going in to watch it and thinking this is pretty decent, because it wasn't like a terribly made movie. It was an all right made movie. It kind of felt like that 1984 From Julia's Perspective, where whoever wrote it really fucking hated the source material, really hated Winston and wanted to prove that he had a small dick. Kind of felt like that was what Rian Johnson felt about Star Wars. I'm going to take all of your expectations and subvert them. Rey, yeah, I know we hinted at her being, I don't know, like Han's daughter or Luke's daughter, or maybe an Obi-Wan connection or something. She's the daughter of nobody. Well, then they had the whole fuck capitalism side quest that yielded no results. Yeah. And all that. But the Rise of Skywalker, it wasn't even a fucking movie. No, it was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
Yeah. It was like a dream, and was like a bad dream, not as in a bad dream, but like just a shitty dream that.
Do you remember? Did you ever see Rich Evans' The Wine Tasting by Ryan Johnson?
I think I did, but I don't remember.
The Wine Tasting, a film by Ryan Johnson.
Ooh.
Do you see Matt Walsh today did a whole episode on Star Wars? Matt Walsh going after the culture.
I saw that he did, but I didn't have any interest in watching.
He pulled from Red Letter Media. It was all Red Letter Media. He went to the old what are the old prequel ones? The
Mr. Plinkett.
Mr. Plinkett's, and then
Matt Walsh referenced Plinkett.
He referenced Plinkett, and he just went through the whole thing. He's pulling off of Red Letter Media guys. I wonder if the Red Letter Media guys will take offense at that. Matt Walsh used them to make their point of Disney Star Wars starting to suck. But I mean, I think he made an honest point about it too, though. That it's, I mean, there was parts, but it really wasn't. It was more corporatism than just like out and out some sort of wokeness or something like that, which wokeness comes into out and out corporatism. So you always said risk aversion and wokeness, or corporate risk aversion and wokeness are basically the same thing. Oh, yeah. But he went into like detail of other people's stuff about the green screen filming and their new modernized great green screen filming. I actually had some good stuff pulled from some channels about how the reason chase scenes never look any good is because they're in those green screen rooms. And if they're in those green screen rooms, you can never really be that far away from somebody when you're chasing them. So it always looks like you're kind of letting somebody get away from you while you're doing any sort of chase sequence or scene. That green screen world's terrible. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I sometimes wonder if The Rock works in like the same office cubicle-y job that I do in his life. He just goes to this cubicle every single day of his life and has no idea like what actual film he's in. It's just this green room he shows up to. He shows up there 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and movies come out of it, but he never exactly knows what exactly he was doing at any given time.
Famous clip of Ian McKellen having a breakdown in one
in The Hobbit.
No,
films?
I haven't.
Oh, it's sad. No, but like, because he's an old man and he's Ian McKellen, but like, and he's talked about in interviews how much he hated making those movies. Because like just as an actor, it was such a nightmare for him. And there's a clip of it, and it's sad, but like he's literally breaking down in tears.
Yeah, it's
in how shitty. Like, and he's just in a sea of green.
It's in one of the Hobbit films.
Yeah. Man, those were dumb. I finally ground my way through those.
Oh, that's when he lost it, was during the Hobbit film?
Yeah, it was during the making of the Hobbit, where like he just couldn't take it. Like, and it was so obnoxious. Like, I mean, just even like, especially if you're like,
I feel like
if you're a serious actor like him, who's serious and good, and like, because he has to film all of his scenes completely separately from all of the other characters that he's supposed to be talking to and interacting with.
Because he's bigger than him.
Yeah. And it just looks
ridiculous. I feel like you could make a single film good edit from those.
Somebody ask Jonathan, because somebody did, and I think Jonathan knows where to find it.
Because like there's enough good looking stuff in it, and I like the casting. Nothing drives me crazier than wasted good casting.
Yeah.
Like bad casting, we talked about Nolan and stuff last week. Bad casting is one thing, but every once in a while a bad casting can surprise you. You know what I mean? Like you can go in and be like, fuck this casting, but by the end of it, like, well, I kind of like the guy in the thing. Like I remember when Heath Ledger got the Joker. We were like, what the fridge is this? You know what I mean? But you can overcome it.
Yeah, Martin Freeman was perfect to play Bilbo.
Oh, the casting was great in the thing. But I still feel that way about Obi-Wan Kenobi. And
oh, yeah, Ewan McGregor was awesome.
Ewan McGregor's been the perfect choice all along, and they've wasted it. Choices Kennedy had an agenda. Yeah, put a chick in it and make it lame and gay. South Park says.
All right. I got a bail. Have you got a quick one?
No, I mean, still just talking about Hollywoody stuff. And this guy makes a good point here. You can cut when you want or keep going as long as you want. I don't know if there's even that much more Hollywoody stuff. But then I was going to go into higher education stuff and women's in it.
I'll just say about Hollywoody stuff is I'm grinding my way through The Walking Dead. And
you know,
I got
funny.
to season 10 because like the show has been slowly getting more and more and more retarded. And like season 10 opened up. And I feel like it turned a corner where it's just got into schlock. So like, because I've been enjoying it less and less and less, like slowly. But now it's turned around where it's like it's bridged that hump of shit into enjoyable schlock. Because now it's just so stupid that I don't know. Like it might because like the way it opened up was just so stupid. It seems to be kind of backing off of it, but still, like I really am like at this point, I really am just grinding my way through because I feel like I need to finish it. But
Risto didn't like Frodo casting.
That's a lot of people say he was the weakest casting, but he's all right. He's fine. I think he did a good job.
It makes sense in that like part of in the story, he's supposed to be a very ordinary guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so like in that sense, like he's a perfect ordinary guy.
I always kind of thought Bilbo was more of that, and Frodo was kind of like the young, bright-eyed kid, which I thought Elijah's eyes always made it. Do you know what Elijah's first role was? It was in Back to the Future 2.
Really?
He's next to Michael J. Fox when he's playing the new video games and the thing.
Like
I just found that out because I was watching my Back to the Future 2 just recently. I was like, what the hell? There's Elijah Wood right there.
In Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the main character is Arthur Dent. And in the book, it describes him as the most remarkable thing about Arthur Dent was how unremarkable he was.
But I mean, I guess every single one of the Hobbits, you kind of always, if you read the books, thought of them all as kind of more middle-aged men looking things.
Because they were like, Frodo was 33 at the start of it, but for a Hobbit, that's very young.
Yeah.
It's funny because you mentioned watching The Walking Dead a couple weeks ago in the chat, and so I was like, you know what? I'll go back because I watched up to season 7, I think. And I was like, this is fucking dumb, and then I just quit. And I'm not gonna go watch the whole thing, but I went back and watched the first season and a couple episodes of the second. And the first thing that shocked me, I know we talked about this before, so I should have expected it, but just how bright it was.
Yeah,
like it's a zombie movie, or a zombie show, even, and I can see stuff. Outdoors? Yeah. It's daytime, and the sun is lighting stuff.
One of the things that, as the seasons go on, that you notice more and more and more and more is because, like in the early seasons, it was almost all practical effects. There wasn't a lot of CG, and then as the seasons go on, there's more and more and more and more and more and more CG, and it looks shitty. It looks like crap.
Do you know who almost got Frodo?
Oh,
according to Google here, it says
Elliot Page. Oh,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh,
what? James Corden.
No.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, he says no. He says it went into audition for other Hobbit roles. Macaulay
he wasn't
Culkin,
even invited. He just showed up.
Macaulay Culkin.
That might have worked.
Yeah, that could have. He maybe could have done it.
Paul Bettany.
Don't know.
What? Paul
He's
Bettany.
too tall, man.
Yeah, he couldn't be. I don't think he'd make a good Frodo.
Stuart Townsend. No, for Aragorn.
Oh.
Stuart Townsend was for Aragorn.
Stuart Townsend was Aragorn. He got cast as Aragorn.
Yeah. And then
he was he was a pretentious cunt, and Ian McKellen just kind of turned to him at one point and was like, "Do you even want to be here?"
It's only gonna be what they had to be there for like a year or two or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Risa said Elijah Wood was too Elijah Woodsy. That is a problem with Elijah Woods, is that he was recognizable at that time. It was a little bit.
I was 10 when those came out, so it was the first thing I had ever seen him in, really.
Elijah Wood was maybe the only other child star besides Macaulay Culkin that everybody knew. Or I guess Haley Joel Osment. Haley Joel Osment as an adult would be a better Frodo. That's a fat Haley Joel Osment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense. All right. I'm gonna bail before I get sucked into the next conversation.
All righty.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
That's a hobbit right there. Right, that was a hobbit right there. He can't do it now though because he got arrested and said stuff about the Jews during his arrest. Did you see that?
I heard about it.
So he's out.
I think when you're famous, you're gonna run into a lot of shitty Jews. Like you just will, because I don't know, record company execs and movie execs, they're gonna be shitty people in general, no matter who it is, and just a lot of them are Jews. So like you're gonna be like, how come every Jew I'm meeting is a fucking dick?
Yeah, that Norm Macdonald famous Saturday Night Live joke where he said, "Who was it? So and so is now
Marlon Brando."
Marlon Brando said something about the Jews controlling Hollywood, and then he apologized, and the Jews said, "You may now come back to Hollywood." After apologizing. This person had a good point. Is like, to understand Nolan's Odyssey, you have to know that academic historians spent the last 20 years writing about how movies like Troy and Gladiator reinforce white nationalism. They really hate that you thought Achilles and Maximus were cool. And that's totally true. Like, if you were in and around humanities academia at any point, you saw that they just churn those papers out. It's hard for people because, like, we only kind of see popularized versions of things that get out. Colin Wright's been doing a good job of just like dumping out all this stuff. But for every single goofy paper you saw, there was 9,500 goofy undergrad academic papers pumped on the same shit. And I used to have to sit there and read all those and just be like, oh, goodness. This guy's saying like how much of the madness and things pointed is just has to do with California state policies and the policies to get something into the Oscars for that really only started in like the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years, but they have all these different like details of like what they have to do for their EEOC audits for their stuff. And they have, I mean, I remember they released some sort of thing back in the Star Trek, the company released some sort of a memo of writing of rules you couldn't break in writing. And I defy anybody to go look up that document to see like what they put out to write any sort of good Star Trek series following those rules. I think it would be near impossible.
How come nobody's gay?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was just trying to write a story. Would you fuck off a little bit?
The Shawshank Redemption didn't pass the Bechdel test.
You mean the show that took place almost entirely in a men's fucking prison?
I guess you can't have men's prison shows nowadays because
I guess not.
Or you'd have to have B plots of like some lesbian. I remember I was watching like the Amazon series Bosch, and it came out kind of in the middle of that. It's like just kind of like a serial type. I don't know what you call them, Law and Order crime show. And you're just like watching like, this is a decent crime show. It's just an okay crime show. People say it's just an okay crime show. Then all of a sudden one episode it's like, yeah, but let's follow the boss lady home one day, and she's got a lesbian wife. Let's watch that. Let's watch that for 20 minutes, and then we'll go away from it. Like, well, why did we just stop it? Like, it had nothing to do with the story, nothing to do with any other storylines. We just had to take a quick 20 minutes to watch, kind of like how in what's The Last of Us had that new added episode of the. They have an added episode of the two gay guys that we just got to put in here real quick.
Like the character,
which wasn't even that bad of an episode, but
I never watched the show because I had played the game already. So
you never saw that episode because that wasn't in the game.
No, I heard about it. So I know that it happened, and that character was gay in the game. He's kind of shy. He doesn't tell you ever. You got to like read notes from his partner, as he calls him, to find out that he's gay. And it's not a big deal. It's just they're like, oh, we got a gay character. We really gotta have an entire episode about it. And he's such a side character. He's a good character, but he's just not important enough to have an entire episode of a 10-episode run devoted to him. I don't know. Charles says it was a good episode. I never watched it, and I never plan on watching the series because the game was already a fucking movie. So.
Say roughly 40 to 50% of famous top 100 movies do not pass the Bechdel test.
Good. I don't care.
40 to 43% of all movies fail. Top grossing popular films, over 50% fail. IMDb top 250, no exact current count. I thought they would have done that. Notable examples of famous movies that fail: The Lord of the Rings trilogy, Blade Runner, Toy Story, and other Pixar films. Avatar, Oppenheimer, Elvis, Ant-Man, Birdman, Star Wars, Ratatouille.
Okay, so here's a conundrum for us, because we all, as feminists, we all acknowledge that the Bechdel test is something that's important that we need to put into films. We definitely need to have women talking to each other about something other than male characters. And we also know for sure that currently, but especially historically, we've lived in an oppressive patriarchy. So all positions of power have been occupied by men, patriarchal men usually. So I guess what that tells us is we just can't make we can't make biopics that happened before like the 1970s or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what show about positions of power are we going to make that's set in 1920 that could possibly pass the Bechdel test?
Well, I mean, they run that with the video games. They're trying to make World War II games nowadays, right? And you can't have a World War II game without diversity all through it. I don't know. Anyway,
slaves won World War II.
We'll never get good stuff again until whatever that crap is lifted, if it ever does get lifted again. Higher education. Higher education. The humanities are the most left-leaning field, followed closely by the social sciences and the life sciences. Then we had a big issue of Colby there. His profession is, some stats came out on it that's shooting leftwards itself.
No way.
Yeah, here that is that everybody's talking about. I'm again reminding you that woke is far from dead. It's further from entrenching itself. I don't think people realize what it is. An existential threat to civilization is. Law school leans left, and it's been shooting super hard left. And this person says one black pill prediction is that crime will skyrocket in coming years as female law school graduates become judges and DAs. They will let violent criminals go due to their suicidal empathy and virtue signaling. Yeah, look at the humanities, like 92%, and I think it's so humanities and social sciences. But I mean, humanities, liberal arts and that sort of stuff is basically like half of education right there. So it's like a whole half of the universe over at the schools. And they noted that it's not only leaning left, the center is as dead as conservatives. Like this, look at the scale on the rate there for the center. There's
that took a nosedive.
There's just as many booting of centrists as there are.
That's funny because the nosedive of centrists came at the exact same rate as the uptick of the leftists.
Yeah, maybe they just swapped. I gotta fight Trump there. Maybe that's all it is a conversion we're looking at right there. But I mean, I saw Steve Stewart Williams put out like a couple things. Like they have these things, like they'll say it's sexist to say that women are more parental, but the exact same comment you could say is sexist the other direction, and nobody ever says that. You know what I mean? Like the exact same finding, you could say it's sexist to men to say they're not parental or something like that, but that's never discussed in that sort of way.
You could if men had systemic power, but
oh, that's right. I forget about power. Power and privilege. A test given to women. I think we talked about this one before. Some were given testosterone, some were given a placebo.
Oh, this is funny as fuck.
And the ones who were given testosterone behaved less aggressively, and the ones that thought they were given testosterone but were given a placebo behaved more aggressively.
That's the funniest way that ever could have. Like, who was the genius level troll that convinced somebody to let him do that study. He knew what he was going to get.
Yeah. We talked about this a couple times, but women's tolerance for allies is lower than males' tolerances for political enemies.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Haidt was protested at a commencement speech just this week.
Few public intellectuals have done more to warn Americans about how the coddling of children produces intolerant adults than Jonathan Haidt and Greg Lukianoff. Their 2018 book, The Coddling of the American Mind, argued that helicopter parenting, the decline of unsupervised play, and the rise of campus safetyism had set up a generation for failure. They warned that universities were teaching students 3 great untruths. First, that hardship makes you weaker. Second, that you should always trust your feelings. And third, that life is a battle between good people and evil people. Haidt, a Stern School of Business professor at NYU and psychologist, has spent more than a decade documenting the link between stability and authoritarianism. Lukianoff, the president of the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, known as FIRE, took over the group in 2006 and has spent 2 decades documenting censorship on American campuses. FIRE today operates with an annual budget above $32 million and a staff of 120, including roughly 20 attorneys. For exactly that reason, it was dispiriting to watch students at Haidt's own university enact the behavior that he and Lukianoff have spent a decade trying to combat. Graduates booed Haidt as NYU president Linda Mills welcomed him to the stage at Yankee Stadium last week. About 36 students walked out of the venue while he spoke. The booing followed a May 5th open letter from the executive committee of the NYU Student Government Assembly, which called Haidt's selection deeply unsettling and demanded that the administration reconsider. Most revealingly, the student committee complained that, quote, many students have reported feelings of disappointment, disgust, unenthusiasm, defeat, and embarrassment, language that mirrors the therapeutic vocabulary that Haidt and Lukianoff diagnosed as the central pathology in coddling. The students treated emotional discomfort with the speaker's ideas as the equivalent of a physical threat. Was he the safest option? Asked the students without any apparent irony, considering the current political climate and his critiques of liberal ideology. Now, to be sure, there has been real progress in recent years.
Here I was thinking they weren't going to explain a reason why they didn't want him there, but they explained it pretty well when they said it made some students feel unsafe. They need a guy on staff. I'm not a fan of having extra admin things, right? But they need to add an extra administrative position, like per every, I don't know, 1,000 students. They need to have a guy that just sits around, and when somebody says something like that, he just yells, faggot, pussy.
Yeah. In the past, I think half decade, women have been getting more and more, like not upwards of 90%. They say even like in the last year of all new jobs, but in the perception, they still think that their sex will limit their career. Well, I guess there's truth to that, because if you're going to have the give birth or something in the middle there, it's going to cause some problems. So I don't know if that one's not truthful in some senses, but it's not truthful in who's getting hired. There's been proven a study done on 361,000 job applications across 30 countries the last 40 years discovered hiring bias in society actually against men, not women. Abstract. But well, it's just a study. We know all these studies, man. They all regress to the mean. All the studies are slop out there. Sloppy stuff. Rob Henderson, people rate fictitious studies showing that men draw better, lie less, or are more intelligent than women as lower in quality, more harmful, and more worthy of being censored than identical studies showing that women do better than men in these domains. So people don't like to hear that men are better than anything, and that was what the study was about.
Ah, Christ.
Colin Wright here, he talks about this situation where in like all these different articles that are coming out of the humanities, they state their identity as that, if that is the thing, is almost the same thing you were saying before, as like Cardin and all that sort of stuff. Like they state their identity as their hard bias, as their proof for being not biased in the situation.
Seeing more and more of this in research papers, it's kind of like a woke ritual meditation about their intersectional positionality and how they approach the data. These aren't methods per se, even though they're usually within the methods section, but really they're just emotional statements that are reflecting on their privilege that they believe somehow helps them mitigate their bias when they're analyzing the data for their paper. It's really awkward and strange. Let me show you. In this paper, this subsection of the methods is called reflexivity and rigor. They claim that one of the authors' experience as a Black, gender-fluid, queer clinician and academic with expertise in crisis safety planning informed the research questions and interview guide, whereas the second and third authors are, quote, white, heterosexual, cisgendered women.
Wow,
now listen to this whole section, okay? I'm going to quote it in full. To ensure reflexive analysis, the first and second authors met throughout the analysis and write-up of the study's findings to discuss their assumptions and perspectives of the participant responses, codes, and emerging themes. These ongoing dialogues created intentional spaces to question ideas and examine how each author's social location informed their meaning-making. The authors also shared excerpts from analytic memos created during coding, which captured the first and second authors' emotional reactions to the transcripts and their analytic insights. This collaborative and reflexive process deepened the author's understanding of the data and helped to manage bias, thus ensuring a thoughtfully interrogated analysis. This is totally bizarre stuff and just unthinkable for me, as it really just defeats the entire purpose of a double-blind peer review process. Rather than making the authors totally anonymous and unknown to the reviewers so they aren't biasing their reviews on the immutable characteristics of the authors, intimate details about the author's skin color and sexuality and other things are foregrounded. Honestly, while the authors claim this is done to mitigate their bias in analysis, I think it's actually done as a signal to reviewers that the authors are these good, progressive, and deeply empathetic people who are doing the so-called work and want to be treated softly in the review process.
Imagine doing that. Like, okay, but before you review my paper, you do know I like to bum dudes, right? Okay, just keep that in mind. Reading this,
just want to let you know.
Next time I write a
important
song,
to know this.
I'm like, I hope you guys like my song, but before I play it, just remember that I am disabled and gay.
Yeah. Let's listen to this. I like this.
As someone who has lived in the liberal milieu, plumbed the shallow depths of the liberal mind, do they really believe this stuff? Or is it a cynical?
Yeah, they do.
Something for
I think they kind of actually do, because they don't have a theory of mind for the criminal. That when they see, okay, this is like a common thing. You'll be having a conversation, and it's like that guy on the street who's like the schizophrenic drug addict who's like committing petty crime. He's like, just a fent zombie on the street, or like they're breaking into cars. They imagine themselves doing that. And they think, okay, what would it take for me to be in this moment, in this set of circumstances, in this context, where I would feel compelled to have to like do these kinds of drugs and like break into this car? And it's like, only if I was at the absolute end of my rope and I'd been deprived of all these things and like been abused and all these horrible things that happened to me, because they can't count it. They are actually like good people with like good underlying instincts and like moral instincts. So any kind of antisocial behavior like that, they interpret as must being caused by some kind of exogenous factor that like disrupted the person's naturally good instincts, like the kind that they have. They can't imagine someone just being bad. Okay, they can't just imagine someone being sort of malicious and malignant like that and antisocial and sort of narcissistic and like enjoy the act of causing someone else suffering. It's totally anathema to them. And so they imagine then that the way to deal with this, the way to rehabilitate these people is for the things that they would want for themselves. They need to be showed love and compassion and care. That's how you heal. Okay, so they really do believe this. And it's what's funny about it is, while they talk about empathy all the time, it's exactly the opposite. They can't imagine the mindset of a criminal. They have zero empathy. They can only imagine their own mind. And they have tremendous sympathy. What they lack is actual empathy. They lack that kind of affective reasoning, which is the ability sort of to adopt someone else's frame of mind. So despite them claiming that this derives from empathy, it's actually something totally different.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Feminine ethic of care, the feminine. I think what's happened is we've come to basically hijack the feminine ethic of care, the feminine impulse to be empathetic, particularly on the left, has become what I view as a completely feminized Democratic Party, where empathy is weaponized. And so, we see more women in college, we see less men, in the humanities, in social sciences, and sort of the systemizing element, which is really what underlies how things are ordered in society, how things function has been, there has been basically more or less discarded or seen as not important. Masculinity is really what will track personality-wise with systemization. And femininity is really sort of the analogy with empathization. And if a society becomes completely feminine, all kinds of chaos will ensue because you don't have any sort of rule-based, lawful, statistically minded, quantitatively focused orientation to why we have laws, why we have rules, why we need order, why we need immigration law, and so forth. And so I think that's really what's happened is we've reached a threshold in society where one party is completely feminized. They see the Trump side, right, conservative as sort of the masculine embodiment, and they're just these two forces are clashing right now. And you see this playing out all over the place. And
I've been telling people for years that women are the problem. I don't know why nobody listens to me.
Yeah, I don't. It's just a different type of approach to the world, and if it gets toxically overdrawn, different problems arise. A new study shows that a study on lottery winners, that if there are men lottery winners use it to make families, women lottery winners do not. They use it to enrich themselves or self-care or some sort of thing like that. So you could do like a feminist reading of that, or the opposite reading of that sort of thing, that women don't need no man, or don't want no man, or they just want freedom and all that sort of stuff.
Well, men already have these things unlocked to them by virtue of the patriarchy, so they don't really need to do that. Women only have it unlocked because, well, now they've finally won the lottery. It's really easy. I don't know why I didn't think about it.
Yeah, this guy's talking about how, all the empathy. I don't know.
This is depressing. How that statistic, which is that if the husband dies, the wife's going to be fine. Really? Yeah. Widows are way happier than widowers. I told that to my wife, and she's like, "Huh."
Whatever.
Widowers do really poorly generally. Men do very poorly, and part of the reason is because these data are disputed, but more or less they're directionally correct. 60% of 60-year-old men say their best friend is their wife. 30% of their wives say their best friend is their husband. Women have more relationships. They have closer, deeper love relationships with non-related kin and with the adult children typically than the husband does. The husband's most intense.
No, it's because the husband's toxic and the woman's
typically is with the wife, and that's why that's an asymmetric stat. And that's what the data say. This is depressing.
Right. You're right. The woman has a toxic husband to deal with. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. Because of course, like every single one of these things, there's like a feminist reading of it, and then you can have like, well, but wait a minute, what if something else is going on there?
It's kind of funny when somebody learns a language really well, like somebody who's truly fully bilingual, especially somebody who learned both languages growing up, will tell you, like, I knew a dude who was, basically like flip, Brazilian mom, American dad, went to my mission. They spoke Portuguese in the home and English, at school. And so obviously he already knew Portuguese, and we're like, we're trying to figure out how it's different for him than us. And he's like, well, it's basically just when I think of a thing, both of the words for that thing, English and Portuguese, pop in my head. And for people who learn it as an adult, they have to think a little bit. That's kind of, I feel like I've become so fluent in feminism that if you ask me for a feminist interpretation of something like that, I could pull it out of my ass really easily.
Yeah, you could interpret stuff that way forever. Like this one here, we pulled up earlier, other longitudinal studies across 60 countries, so teachers give higher marks to girls. But maybe that's just because the girls are better and do the smarts better.
Yeah, that was my Scott Adams. That was my Scott Adams moment when you showed me that. I was like, if your question was, do people take it easier on girls than they do boys? I could have saved you a lot of money.
It's so funny because I guess just kind of rampaging through all this stuff it's just like 1 week of seeing like all the different things that are kind of like counter to the concept that we're just in this major patriarchy that we have pushed on us constantly everywhere, and we're in a gynocracy and have been for quite a while. But maybe there was like a little blip of some Mormonism that in the 80s and 90s kind of still leaned and swam the other direction, like salmon swimming up the stream a little bit. But no, like the rest of society and the rest of Mormonism fell with it. Like, no, it's gynocentric, and it has been gynocentric. But look, you shared this from NPR. 10 U.S. mayors from cities such as Chicago and Cincinnati have joined a pact with European mayors to defend democracy and progressive values and fight right-wing populist and authoritarianism. Liberal U.S. mayors team up with European counterparts to fight authoritarianism.
Yeah,
and it looks like a bunch of lady meetings.
Yeah, think of all the meetings and letters they'll write.
There'll be so many meetings. So this broke the internet. It's an ad. And it says, it shows this couple. It says, "When are you two having kids?"
Oh, yeah.
And it just shows this. They have these color-coded books that they're selling. It's just an ad. Who knows if that couple really doesn't want to have kids or if they even went and did all this stuff. But it's pushing, like, go and have a bunch of vacations instead of kids. Like, over the, you know.
Well, me and
the
Morgan
internet
always,
went crazy about it.
So me and Morgan always, we watched a bunch of just trash reality, and we have that joke of anytime it's like a dating show or something, the guy and the girl are trying to figure out if they're going to work together, and they're like, we have so much in common, like, so let's learn about each other. What are you into? Well, I like to travel. Oh my god, I like to travel too. That's what? You like to travel? We have so much in common. Or what are you saying? You think it's cool to see the Great Wall of China? Wow, that's what a crazy thing. Who would possibly think it'd be cool to visit Notre Dame? You know, what a personality you have.
Yeah. But I don't know, just like pushing that is like a better thing to do with your life. And I would think at some point traveling would be kind of get old or pretty old, in my opinion. But
I don't know. Have you ever seen Eat, Pray, Love?
Oh yeah.
I don't think it doesn't get old to her. It actually is very
Touche.
fulfilling to her. So
Point and counterpoint. Well taken, sir. Touche. Touche.
yeah, you got to think about these things.
Let's go with that. A big thing that broke the internet, I guess, because anytime Elon shares something, it all people just go nuts with it nowadays. It's one of the reasons the suicidal empathy all became like a big thing, just because Elon shared one thing of it. So I guess it's good for Homelander to throw him into space or something like that. But this was written in French, original, translated from the French, and this guy from France wrote to apologize for postmodernism from France.
Really?
Yeah, Jonathan shared it.
I didn't see that. We're still on this travel people. Oh, let's see.
Look, he has like a name that kind of looks like that new band that everybody's crazy about. I guess everything's program over there. But
let's see. I want to offer my apologies on behalf of the French for giving birth to French theory, which in turn gave birth to the worst of all ideological monstrosities, wokeism. We gave the world Descartes, Pascal, Tocqueville, and then in the intellectual ruins of post-1968, we gave Foucault, Derrida, Deleuze, three brilliant men who forged, in the elegance of our language, the ideological weapon that today paralyzes the West. We must understand what they did. Foucault taught that truth does not exist, that there are only power relations disguised as knowledge, that science, reason, justice, and medical institution, the school, the prison, sexuality, everything is merely a staging of domination. Derrida taught that texts have no stable meaning, that every signifier slips away, that every reading is a betrayal, that the author is dead and the reader reigns supreme. Deleuze thought that we should prefer the rhizome to the tree, the nomad to the sedentary, desire to the law, becoming to being, difference to identity, becoming to being. That's
difference is that's a postmodern word that's different than difference. But
Okay. The becoming to being, it just popped in my head, that Miley Cyrus song talking about it's not the destination, it's the journey. It's the climb. Man, women suck that shit up. Taken individually, these are debatable theses. Combined, exported, and popularized, they form a system, and the system is a poison. For here's what happened. These texts, unreadable in France, crossed the Atlantic. The departments of Yale, Berkeley, and Columbia absorbed them in the 1980s. They found there a soil that did not exist among us. American Puritanism, its racial guilt, its obsession with identity. French theory married this substratum, and the child of that union is called wokeism. Judith Butler reads Foucault and invents performative gender. Edward Said reads Foucault and invents academic post-colonialism.
Yeah, both of those came directly from Foucault. I think one of the funniest things I mentioned the other week is Said. I'd read some of the stuff, but I didn't even realize after a while that he claims that the West invented the concept of the bad Arab, and then the Arabs played into the West's invention of them being bad.
That's even worse. You think your people are retarded. They knew we were dumb as shit, so they could convince us all to be evil. Yeah. That's it. Sure got some pride in your people, you dipshit. Where did Kimberly Crenshaw inherits the framework and invents intersectionality. At every step, the matrix is French. There is no truth. There is only power. So every hierarchy is suspect. Every institution is oppressive. Every norm is violence. Every identity is constructed and thus negotiable. Every majority is guilty. That's how three Parisian philosophers, who probably never imagined their practical consequences, provided the operating software. Yeah, they weren't thinking of the practical consequences. Foucault just really wanted to justify boinking kids.
I genuinely think he created that because all these stem from the tree of Foucault. They call him the grandfather of all of it.
Yeah.
And genuinely, it was all invented to justify boinking kids. I genuinely think that there is truth to that.
You didn't even tell me that. I got to that conclusion about 2 chapters into what is it, human sexuality or whatever he calls that. Anyway, provided the operating software to an entire generation of activists, university bureaucrats, HR managers, journalists, and legislators. That's how we ended up with a civilization that no longer knows how to say whether a woman is a woman, whether its own history is worth defending, whether merit exists, whether truth can be distinguished from opinion. It's shit for one simple reason, and it must be stated calmly. A civilization stands on 3 pillars: the belief that there exists a truth accessible to reason, the belief that there exists a good distinct from evil, the belief that there exists a heritage to be transmitted. French theory set out to dynamite all 3, not out of malice, out of intellectual play, fascination with suspicion, hatred of the bourgeoisie that had nurtured them. But the result is there. An entire generation learned to deconstruct. You got to scroll down.
My dog's not letting me use my arm. What are you doing?
What a shit, but... To deconstruct and never learn to build. An entire generation knows how to suspect and no longer knows how to admire. An entire generation sees power everywhere and beauty nowhere. I apologize because we French bear a particular responsibility. It's our language, our universities, our publishers, our prestige that gave this nihilism its chic packaging. Without the legitimacy of the Sorbonne and Vincennes, I don't know how to pronounce that, these ideas would never have crossed the ocean. We exported doubt and doubt the way others export weapons. What is being built now in Silicon Valley, in AI labs, in startups, in workshops, in all the places where people still make things instead of deconstructing them, that is the response. A civilization is rebuilt by builders, not by commentators, by those who believe that truth exists and is worth devoting oneself to, by those who embrace a hierarchy of the beautiful, the true, the good, and are not ashamed to transmit it. So forgive us. Hey, buddy. We're not collective.
Frenchie.
We're not collective guilt mongers. Come on. It's not your fault your people are fucking gross.
Yeah. He did another long post, but we've talked about it before, deconstructing deconstruction. For Bill's quick AI book of deconstruction and all that sorts of stuff. But we don't need to get into that. Just to get into that postmodern word of deference is that thing I always talk about, is that things are always infinitely deferred, so they're never stable type crap. Yeah, it's a bunch of bull crap, and it's nice to have a Frenchie finally apologize. And no, I do not accept his apology.
You can fuck off, buddy.
Die, Frenchie.
I was trying to be nice, but
imagine me being Homelander, and we're off screen right now.
Chris says to eat a dick.
We're off screen right now, and I do whatever Homelander did to Frenchie off screen. I got other stuff, but maybe not.
So apparently John DeLynne's been in Thoughtful Saints for like a year, just kind of lurking.
Oh, did you just link that?
I didn't link it, no. I posted something in there like an hour before we started, just saying, all right.
You want to link to that?
Give me...
I got it. I got it.
You already found it? Okay. Yeah, I just said, so John DeLynne is getting a lot of flack for joining the group. I'm curious to find out if he lasts longer in this group for criticisms of your religion than I lasted in his group for criticisms of his religion. And then Jacob just was like, wait a minute, he's in the group.
I thought I'd seen him in there somewhere before just to like do some quick post a while back.
Bill Reel was. Maybe still is. I don't know.
Curious to find out if this lasts longer in the group of criticism of your religion than I last in the groups for criticism of his religion. So true. Something to go along with all this different stuff. Another thing that kind of broke the internet this week was Dave Ramsey had some lady on. I don't have the clip of it. I was trying to find the clip, but this ended up becoming a discussion between like boy dollars versus girl dollars. If you talk about the lottery and all that stuff and what boys are expected to do with their money and what girls are expected to do with their money. But this gal comes on, says her boyfriend makes $250K a year and she has $90K in student debt loans. And he says he wants her to pay it off before they get married. And Dave Ramsey says, dump him. And of course, Dave Ramsey is a conservative. Everybody else should take care of their debt, guys. But as soon as it comes to like some gal saying, I have this and he makes money, it's like, well, you should pay for it or dump him. So a bunch of people kind of went nuts with it. Like, would that be said in the opposite direction in any dimension ever?
No. Well, and it's something people, I don't know, something the feminists don't get.
Everybody just default knows that would not be okay the other direction, right?
Yeah, they do. And it's the thing is, like, not only would it not be okay, the feminist advice would, if it was the man saying that, would be like, that freeloading piece of shit. In fact, maybe even Dave Ramsey's advice would shit on the guy. I don't know. Because that's just a way in which boomer conservatives match up with feminists loosely that nobody seems to acknowledge is how they treat women. You know, they both handle women with utter kids gloves.
And then they
happy wife, happy life. That might as well be feminist.
They do different. Like nobody doesn't treat men and women differently or expect them to do different things with their money, expect them to do different things with their time or save for the future in different ways. I guess it's just the patriarchy runs deep in us, except it runs from the feminist side too, and in the different ways that they'll sum up a man by what work he does or what money he makes in 10 seconds faster than Andrew Tate ever would. You know what I mean? But that's the world too. It's like there's part of me that is not part of me, he's part of me. It's like, it's fine that's how the world is. Yeah, that is the world. You know what I mean? What grinds my gears is the people who make entire living and careers whining and bitching about it, that it's supposed to be different, and get people to listen to them or buy their books or whatever for it. And it's just bullshit. It's just not the world.
I am fine with women and children getting the lifeboats first. I'm chill with that. Like, I kind of enjoy that duty as a man. What irks you is growing up hearing like women are just as capable as men, women are equal to men, we can do anything just as good as you, maybe even better. And it's almost like in a snarky way. Nobody ever says it like, hey, you know, maybe women could be mathematicians too. Like, nobody says it that way. It's like they say it in that pre-punched fashion we were just talking about. Like, you have already assaulted them and assumed that they are less than, and then they woke scold you for something that they assume you think. And so, yeah, you're going to get annoyed with that. That's what annoys you, is that they say that, and then, but they still want to keep the women and children on lifeboats first. They still want to. I work, I'm working fast food with a bunch of women who tell me how capable and awesome they are. And then when it's time to empty the grease from the fucking fryer, somebody's got to pick up the heavy, nasty bag of grease. Like, I'm just a little girl. Can't you get this big bag of grease for me? Big, strong. No, you're just as capable as me, bitch. Get out there. I'm feminist, bitch.
Well, to go on like that, our gal here who does great think pieces, the second story here and stuff, talked about how most of especially in Hollywood and all that different Hollywood stuff we see going on, is that the strong female characters that are being written are just shitty toxic males, but that's now a strong female character.
Well, they really are. I was thinking about this today because the new James Bond game is coming out, and somebody said, well, he's not going to treat women like garbage. He's going to be, he's going to have modern sensibilities and stuff. And then I'm just thinking of Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
She was
she's terrible.
She was a womanizer, but to men. Like, she treated them like they were nothing. And why are the same people telling us James Bond can't do that, but also she should do that?
Well, it was like that stuff. Like, I think they took the scene out of the movie, but Captain Marvel, they showed it as some exciting thing of her being like some great woman, because she walks up to some guy and he says, "Hey, baby." So she beats him up and steals his motorcycle. And you're like, well, if that's a superhero,
he tells her to smile.
That's not okay for a superhero to do that too.
Yeah, well, you see people like throw shit at Superman's face and totally disrespect him, and his reaction to that is to remain stoic. He's not supposed to use his powers against these people, even though that person is treating him like shit. Yeah, the biker guy is being kind of a creepy dickhead when he says that to you. Your response to that isn't to be a cunt.
Charles,
and if it is, that's a learning thing. If that's your response, it's supposed to be like you know what? That's a character flaw I need to overcome. But Captain Marvel's only character flaw she had to overcome is that she didn't get angry enough.
Yeah. I mean, it happens so much. It's in so much of the different writing, and it's just so shit. I would love to see a real strong woman show. You know what I mean? Just in the sense of, like, I love the concept initially with the idea of what's her name in Marvel, Black Widow. Mm-hmm. That in the first couple things, it was totally awesome how she used her feminine wiles to trick people. You know what I mean? Like, act like the damsel in distress, or I mean, that's totally the way you would see that being done properly to trick, to get people and sneak them in like a Black Widow would, you know, and like that sort of whole concept, like fleshed out, like way better to like the nth degree, just like a chick who just knows how to, which so many of the Bond women, like that's what their femme fatale ability was to trick people with their looks or with their sweetness or some sort of thing like that, and that's how they get them. But beyond that, just I'm talking about like a series where the actual ways that women actually win or take power or do things, like the ways they get through the world, just to see a show that actually took that stuff to its limit and put it on screen effectively would be way interesting. I'm trying to think of one I've ever seen.
So
I swear I've seen some before.
Do you remember the first Captain America movie?
Yes.
So when he's like the scrawny kid, they finally decide, okay, I guess we'll let you into basic training. He goes to basic training, and they're running, and he's way behind everybody because he's a weakling, and they have some flag at the top of a flagpole, and they're like, all right, boys, we got to jog all the way back to camp, but anybody that can climb up, anybody that can get that flag off of there, can have a ride back in the Jeep. And these guys try to climb, and they can't get up there. They're too exhausted, so they give up and they start running back. And then Steve Rogers, exhausted, just walks up to it and pulls the pin out of the bottom of the flagpole, and it falls down. He just picks up the flag and they give him a ride.
Exactly.
That's using your brain. That's exactly what happened in the animated Mulan. Yeah, that's having that. And you can see that in Terminator 2. There's that scene where she's trying to escape from the asylum, and she is overpowered by the other dudes, but she is very badass. She's very strong.
It would be awesome to see some like good writer or good thinker, maybe we could be the ones to do it or something like that, who took that to the nth degree. Like she's MacGyver, but that like she everything she does works around things in that way, and she's very, very good at that, not at being just a toxic man herself who can beat guys up with her stiletto shoe. You know, just if it was well written in that way, it'd be highly interesting to see something like that. Charles says, hey guys, you know what grinds my gears lately? I found out today that my daughter's therapist has spent the last 12 weeks giving her all the same advice that I've been giving her for years. But she listens to the therapist, right? I think I saw Radio Free Mormon talk about it. I had a friend of mine who, not even that long ago, maybe like a year ago, he like comes back to me and says, so-and-so recommended me a therapist. I went to him. He's like the best guy around. I went to it and he talked to me about the reason like I get so hung up in my head about sex and pornography and stuff was my Mormon upbringing, and my Mormon upbringing made me think, you know, just kind of the typical stuff. And I had to forgive myself and not punish myself in shame and all sorts of stuff. I'm like, dude, I've known you 20 years. We've had that discussion 84 kabillion times.
I know. As RFM answered it, he said advice is better when you shell out $250 an hour for it.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, he did not say some new pithy thing to understand from
that. He says it's like selling Book of Mormons instead of giving them away.
Make them feel like you want them. That's what they messed up with like the COVID vaccine, man. If they wanted the whole world to go crazy about that COVID vaccine, they should just be like, nope, just for the Epstein class. Only Epstein class gets them. Only Epstein class gets them. None of the rest of you motherfuckers get them. And then the country would have been clamoring for them. Man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, that melted my head. But I mean, I guess if you pay for it and get that sort of stuff, that's how it works. But that's usually how it works with like consultants and stuff too. They come to your company to tell you something that somebody inside your company already said or knew or something like that.
My dad gets that a lot with my mom, and he'll be like, "What's my mom's like going to do something." And I was like, oh, yeah, mom wants to buy that thing. He's like, yep. I'm like, why do you seem frustrated with that? He's like, well, because she asked me for advice on it. I told her to buy that thing like 100 times over the last 10 years. And then one of her fucking idiot friends tells her once. And oh, my God, that's such a good idea.
Have you heard of this thing?
So happy Nancy said that. Yeah, if only someone else would have said that.
Oh.
Charles, damn, a redhead with a skull on her desk. To quote Wayne's World, swing.
she's great too. She's got the second. I mean, she's actually a really good literary person. Knows her.
She's probably my favorite storytelling analysis person.
If we had her, I mean, not to say stuff's about the sexes. If she took over the humanities, they'd start clearing up really, really quick. You go on a mission to learn Spanish and you want to know what's good for you. You remember, like, maybe you got it a little bit. You got Portuguese. My older brother who went to Finland, just the very first thing he said when he saw my mission call is, you get the useful language, you know, something like that.
Oh, see, I wasn't looking for a useful language, but apparently your language learning has been more of a burden.
It's been a burden because I was saying this video right here, it's about helping boomers with their phones. But you get called on a Mormon mission, you did not realize that you were just signing up for the rest of your life to have this conversation, but in Spanish, because you are suddenly every Spanish speaking person's at your jobs this guy.
Can you help me with my phone?
Are you serious again? Have you really tried, Dad? Think about it before you answer. Have you really tried?
I promise it's the last time.
That's what you said the last time. How many times are we going to do this?
I'm trying my best. It's all locked up.
Whose password is it, Dad? Whose password? My password. Whose responsibility is it to know your password?
It's mine.
I bet all your friends know their passwords.
Well, no, Jerry butt dials me like once a day.
Maybe we need to surround ourselves with more impressive guys than Jerry.
Just give me one more chance.
You know what I'm thinking? Maybe this will stick if we take away the Fox News app.
Don't take it away. I'll listen to this.
Maybe that'll help you remember.
Don't take away the Fox.
Do you need the password to unlock your phone or the password to the Wi-Fi?
To the red app.
We have been over this. The password to unlock the phone or the password to the Wi-Fi.
I want to make you proud here, but
Are you crying?
Why are you yelling at me?
You brought me into this world and I can take you out.
Why do I need to know this?
Maybe so your 401k doesn't end up in Sri Lanka.
I don't mess with my 401k. Gift cards to Nigeria. That's what I do.
Okay, you know what? I've had it. I have no choice. 2 weeks nursing home.
No.
I don't want to hear
I'll
it.
I'll figure it out.
Consequences to your act. Maybe next time we'll figure it out.
Son,
I have lost more time than my entire mission in close to that exact conversation with Spanish speakers. And I'm pretty sure that any other Spanish speaking person in the world who ended up in the workplace, that's just their life now. Like, even if you aren't the person who does that, you get roped into doing that. Like, everything is just helping them log on to their damn phones all day, every day, everywhere, to all the different things. And it's password for the phone or password for the app or password for it's just infinite. So that's what you get. That's what you get for going on a Spanish speaking mission. That's your reward.
See, I remember
I've talked about it before, but I'm getting that time of seasoning, and I literally the actual hours of doing that today is close to 4 hours.
I remember my mom when I was in high school. That was the first time we could learn different languages, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna get into a language class?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Which one?" And I said, "German." And she's like, "German? Why German? Chances are you'll go on a Spanish speaking mission." I was like, "Yeah, I know. So I'm already going to learn Spanish. Why would I?"
I took German in high school.
I could learn a little bit of German.
I was all wiped out. Like, I don't remember a lick.
Yeah, I do remember they would ask my favorite sport. And for whatever reason, I said, they're like, "Was ist dein Lieblingssport?" And I said, "Mein Lieblingssport ist dicke Kinderschlagen," which just means my favorite sport is beating fat kids. I
only remember some bits of it. Like, "Hallo Claudia, wie geht's? Wo genau? Ich gehe nach Hause. So früh ist es schon spät." And I'm probably messing up the accent to that entirely.
Yeah, you probably messed it up because I didn't understand any of it, and I would have if you would have got it right.
You would have got
it.
Yeah,
I totally would have heard everything.
You're like, "Oh, spät,
Spätenheimen schnuben."
I wonder if it's true, like, you just act like Hitler and you get a better accent. Like, did you ever do that in your mission? Like, you start doing some like shit impression, and when you're doing that shit impression, all of a sudden the Mexicans are like, "Holy cow, your accent just got like perfect when you were doing that impersonation there." That's crazy.
I did that. There was an ice cream truck that would drive around.
Scarface said I did a good accent on that.
Oh, nice. See, I had
Radio Free Mormon took German in high school too. I mean, I guess we all just got waxed on our.
Well, there was an ice cream truck that did loud announcements, piccole, and then I would impersonate that sometimes, and I do the whole announcement impersonation. And my companion's like, "Why do you always talk like that? When you talk like that, your accent totally disappears." I was like, "I don't know. It feels kind of like speaking in an accent, really. Like, that's kind of what it is." It's like if I were to speak English in an English accent all day, and if it were perfect,
very good.
Yeah, it would feel weird. They'd be, I'm like visiting. "Why don't you speak like this all the time? You could fit right in." Because it feels weird. I don't know.
Yeah. I sometimes have to do that. Like, I'll still use the what is that? The Doctrine and Covenants for the "He aquí una obra maravillosa está a punto de aparecer entre los hijos de los hombres. Por tanto, vosotros que os aparezcáis." I'm forgetting now, but I could probably remember it if I stopped and thought about it. We used to
Vi pilar de luz acima de mi cabeza.
Arriba de mi cabeza, más brillante que el sol.
Más brillante que el sol.
Este es mi hijo.
Deseo sobre mí.
I'll use that sometimes still to warm up my accent. I'll sit there and I'll do it kind of exaggerated. Ayaki, because like if I'm having to speak, I actually had to give a presentation in Spanish at work this week. It's like before it, and it wasn't even in the morning. I have to like get my mouth going, like, I do like Jack Black actor warm-ups. If you ever seen him do those.
No.
You haven't seen him? He does like crazy actor warm-ups. They're really good.
RFM took 4 years of German and got sent to Japan. And then his friend who baptized me took 4 years of German and got sent to Austria. Yeah, you lost out on that one, buddy. I guess you learned a little bit of German and Japanese. So, you know.
Easy way.
Does this work? Because this works for me.
Yeah.
Red leather, yellow.
Yes, you had.
Yeah.
Red leather, yellow.
Well, that's one of the many things you can. There, I have a bunch of them.
I know how to do it.
A big black bug bit a big brown bear. Geese cackle, cattle low, crows caw, cocks crow. 8 great geese in a green field grazing. I can go on for hours.
Keep doing it. I want to see the more.
6 thick thistle sticks. Lucy likes light literature. Amos Ames, the amiable aeronaut, aided in an aerial enterprise at the age of 88. Some shun sunshine. Do you shun sunshine? Fine white wine, vinegar with veal.
Did you memorize that, or are you just improvising that?
I memorized it way back in my 20s.
Whoa, dude.
Theater.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, that's actually maybe I should.
It's probably
calm down
useful.
on my Jack Black fatigue should just calm down a little bit. RFM, guess you had to study harder at the MTC. Yeah,
I bet you Japanese. Japanese is pretty phonetic though, which is kind of nice, isn't it?
I've learned some. I just did Japanese on Duolingo just to learn the katakana and the hiragana.
I learned the hiragana once.
Hiragana.
So it took so long, and now I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. What can I say? What is it? What is it? Fuck.
Itadakimasu.
No, I remember once.
That's the only one. That's the only thing I remember. That's what you say before you eat, and I probably said it like a Spanish speaker.
I lost it. Never mind. It was.
You haven't become like a weeb and gotten all into it from anime and all that stuff.
No, I don't watch a whole lot of anime. But Akai kasa detsuka. That's all I remember of it. There's a whole sentence. It was, "Is this my red umbrella?" It's just the useless fucking shit. Like in Russian, I remember the useless sentence. Nam nada prigotовить grubia salata, which just means we need to prepare mushrooms for the salad. So if
RFM has a way to remember it. Eat the doggy mess. Itadakimasu. That's because it's what you say before you eat. So I guess it's eat the doggy mess. That helps. That's useful. But now
I did know I've told this story before, but I did know a Brazilian missionary in the Provo MTC who was going to Japan, but nobody spoke Portuguese and Japanese. And so he had to come to Provo, learn rudimentary English, and then through that, learn Japanese. And it is a bitch, but they come home trilingual, which is very helpful.
I met a Japanese guy at the University of Utah, and he was nice enough to kind of sit and give me lessons. But it's kind of like the same thing. Like you know, some like really good music player who doesn't know much about theory. They're the worst person to take music from. This Japanese guy was not helpful at all. But one of the things that blew my mind is I would like look at pictures of the hiragana, and the hiragana is not intense, right? And I'd try to like redraw it, and he'd look at it and be like, "What the fuck is that? What the fuck? I don't know what you mean." Or, you know, he could not like read any of the things I wrote. I'm like, I'm drawing it just like it's on the dang screen there. And then he'd draw a thing and like, that doesn't look like that at all. And it obviously like had shorthand or something to it. I don't know what he was doing, or maybe I was just that bad at it. But I could not draw the stuff right. Just like if you're sitting there saying a word and they're saying you're still saying it wrong, you're still saying it wrong. I couldn't draw it right. I'd sit there right in front of him trying to draw the thing like, no, not like that. That's terrible.
That's how it's a kurapu. Yeah, I knew all of the hiragana, and I think I knew all of the katakana, or how do you say it?
Oh, I didn't get anywhere near that. And then what's the third one? The third one's the
third one's just the kanji, and I didn't learn really any
that's like
kanji.
the big words and the big crazy drawings.
Yeah, that's like you got to be a fucking artist to. I mean,
it'd be simple to get in that. But I also imagined like if I can't draw the hiragana, I would never be able to draw a kanji.
Yeah,
right?
fucked on a kanji.
I'm like, what is that, you asshole? Have you
What
heard
are
about,
those?
What are those? Have you heard about this game Mixtape?
Oh yeah.
Everyone's all crazy about it because it's supposedly, well, actually, a bunch of people are saying the gameplay is nothing. Like it's basically like one of those movie games where you actually don't even need to play it at all. It'll just run through anyway.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them that have shown the opening skateboard scene. You can just not do anything. There's been a few games lately where there will be like a quick time event, and if you just don't touch anything, it's like you're falling into the mouth of a beast, and you got to throw a grappling hook or something, and it's going in slow motion. It says press triangle, and then you don't do it, and it just like pauses, and it gives you infinite time. You're like, what the fuck is the point of this? Just do a cutscene.
I mean, I always felt the God of War ones were a little bit easy. I don't remember. I know I'm not that good, and I don't remember ever messing one up.
I don't like quick time events at all. If it were up to me, we'd get rid of literally all of them. I fucking hate them. But if they're gonna be there might as well be consequences to them, right?
One of the things that drove me the craziest about the quick time events in God of War is it was also kind of the coolest looking parts, and all I was doing is looking at the X and the triangle and the X and the triangle and the X and the triangle.
I know, you can't even watch the cutscene because you're staring at the screen.
Like, I would just like to watch this cutscene if it's just a cutscene. God dang it!
They have improved since the era of like the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation 2, like when they would have Dragon Ball games, because in Dragon Ball they'll fire off their energy beams, and they'll get to a beam struggle where they collide in the middle, and they're both like this and this. And in the first games, whenever that would happen, the way that they would have you beat the other guy in the beam struggle is to spin your control stick around as fast as you can. And you wouldn't do that with your thumb. You'd mash your right palm on and just go, which fucks up the Nintendo 64 controllers bad.
I bet. Anyway, this game is supposedly like major 90s nostalgia.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like an indie game, but then the licensing for all of the 90s songs they got from this, I don't know. It might have been fun if you weren't such a hipster cunt in the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a bunch of people kind of point to it is the grunge music or the MTV type style music at the time, which at the same time, like if you think about stuff like Daria or Aeon Flux or those different movies, anything that was on MTV back in the 90s, you can't get it on DVD and stuff nowadays because it's all got that same issue the Wonder Years had, where they somehow were able to, for a brief time, license all this on radio music at that time frame and put it in their show, and that messed up any sort of future ability to sell it with DVDs because it just became too much of a mess and nightmare with the resale stuff of it. But everybody's kind of going crazy, and they say young people are kind of like looking at it and saying like, I want to go to the 90s. I want to go to the 90s because they watch this game and it makes it seem like the 90s were such a better time.
They were.
I remember Walsh also talked about he thinks there's false nostalgia for the Blockbuster era and sort of stuff. That everybody's lying that they think Blockbusters were great. And I don't think that's true. I mean, you brought up the Pizza Hut stuff this week, that there's those old-timey Pizza Hut buildings that are being spread around.
No, everybody's not lying about that. Blockbuster.
I think Blockbuster is awesome.
Well, part of why it was awesome is because it was an event. I talk about this with the internet, right? Because when the internet first became sort of commonplace in every house, it was a treat, right? It was something that you had to go somewhere specific in order to get. You would have to go home. I carried around a notebook with me in the 9th and 10th grade, all through high school, where I would think of something, like anytime something came up, I'd be like, oh, I got to look that up when I get home. And I'd write it down. I'd have a whole list of things to look up when I got home. And it was awesome. And I looked up more stuff then than I do now. And the internet's in my fucking pocket.
That's crazy.
And it was just, that's what
you'd have to sit there and write down and remember like the movies that you wanted to get when you got over to.
Well, yeah, there's that. But it was also, that's the thing with Blockbuster. We'd go to, it was Hollywood Video. That was when we would go to, but same thing. And and it was an event. It wasn't like you were sitting there endlessly scrolling through.
Well,
dog
there's
shit.
something about the like there's some new release, like, so go get the new release, and you get there and they're all taken. You're like, dang it. But then there was something cool about, okay, I gotta choose something else.
You gotta, but it's a whole family event. It's the
Yeah.
family has to get in the car. We gotta drive to Blockbuster, and we don't have phones to distract ourselves, so we're fucking around and joking with each other, and then we go in there and we're arguing. We can only get 3 videos, and one of them is mom and dad's, so we got to choose the other 2, and we got to negotiate. Oh, we've watched that one 5 times already, but who cares? Let's watch it again. We go back home, and it's an event, and that makes it better. And there's only one choice. It's not like you can get bored of the movie 2 minutes in and suddenly say, let's watch a different one.
People go crazy on the internet for nostalgia for the 90s now because so many people are mad that everybody thought that was like the Francis Fukuyama end of history, and so now everybody's like, it couldn't be the end of history. It was always gonna. But I don't care, man. I'm always just gonna be infinitely nostalgic for the 90s, just before the internet blew up too hard. It was like the perfect level of tech. Perfect. I'm Amish for the 90s.
Charlie misses random hole in the wall video rental store. We did too. We had Walkers. That was the one closest to our house before it closed down and we had to go to Hollywood. Walkers was great. It was just
I miss renting video games.
$1 yeah, they had movies and they had video games. You could rent consoles there if you wanted to. And for some reason you could mail letters from there. I don't know why, but
I'm always nostalgia for vintage games, and of course I'm like a huge Angry Video Game Nerd channel fan. But one of the things that I loved about that time frame too is like there was something kind of cool about getting a shit video game for a weekend and then having to deal with it and make that video game work because you only had that weekend to make it work. And it's so funny because half the nostalgia is for sometimes going wrong, and going right was extra special because it went right. You got like some really good movie, but then sometimes you guys would get some kind of crap movies and just be like, well, I guess we're stuck with these 4 movies. Let's watch these movies. Here's their episode on they went to the pizzas. I guess one of these Pizza Huts that throwback old one is in Tooele. There's one in Tooele, Utah, I think. Because there's these guys releasing the 90s style.
Sound's supposed to be playing?
No, I have it on quiet on purpose, unless you wanted to watch it. But I mean, it's just those guys hanging out at the Pizza Hut. But
dude, last time I went to one of those 90s style Pizza Hut was the day I came home from my mission. They still had one in Idaho Falls, and it's the classic Pizza Hut building, and had the salad bar, everything. And I got some root beer and it tasted like iron because of the pill that I got. Mr. Bill. I forgot. The
old commercial. Yeah.
Oh no, Mr. Bill. But it's funny because that Pizza Hut, they sold that location and it's now like some insurance adjuster's office, and it's like that trans meme.
So weird when they use that.
You'll always know it. They painted it white and the roof is brown, but like
that was
the Pizza Hut.
That's the reason like they're all shit now. One of the reasons they're all black, gray, whatever plain buildings is because they're all thinking about future resale.
Yeah. Well, and that's the funny part is the location that they chose for the new Pizza Hut is in the same parking lot as that one. It's just a shitty little outlet mall looking area. I hate it.
Yeah, everything's got the drab looking thing nowadays. But yeah, part of that is because they want to resell it one day and make it some small bank or whatever the crap. I don't know what people use brick and mortar buildings for nowadays anyway. But I got some. I don't want to get into those some weird things Jonathan sent us this week of where all words are invented or
RFM is reminding us of the Blockbuster doing massive domino strings with VHS boxes. I do kind of remember that. It does sound very familiar. But
I remember I remember stuff like that.
Honestly, the 90s to me, I was
Also,
born
the
in
last time
91, so.
I mean, I guess blockbusters were around till what, 2010ish still.
Yeah, around there. There's still one in Alaska.
But one of the best times in my lifetime was 2002ish to 2010, which is when you first become not Mormon. And people always talk about wanting to go sin and drinking beer and coffee and all that sorts of stuff. Often overlooked is most of us, some of us, I had a bunch of Mormon friends who just never was true for. I had all sorts of Mormon friends that could watch rated R movies. But suddenly, I'm in my young 20s and all the rated R movies in the world are open up to me, which means a bunch of the best classics in history. So like I had 10 years of getting to choose from the best movies that I had not seen yet. And now I can't just recreate that any night because I sit there on Netflix and everything's just slop and garbage.
See,
and maybe I'm comparing it to my time frame where I got to crash 50 years of the best movies ever because I hadn't seen any of them when I was a kid.
See, that happened to me, except for I was already we were already in the slop phase by the time I left the church. It was like 2014.
Yeah, but you didn't.
Wait. Go back.
I had time frames
I'll
get to it. I had time frames where I had not seen Godfather yet, and I have not seen Goodfellas yet. Let's go get both of those this weekend. And for the first time in my life, I get to back Godfather and Goodfellas. You know, I can't back to back that anymore. Like that's a little bit what I'm nostalgic for. Is this what you wanted to go back to?
No, go back a little bit before that because we talked about this before. It's kind of funny. They were doing a Pizza Hut / Taco Bell ad with Demolition Man. I think it's a little before this. It's
Ninja Turtle group.
No, it was Demolition Man. You got to go even further back. Well, not that far back. Oh wait, it's just a little bit back. More before that. Okay, I think it's right there. It'll get to it in just a second.
Over and he catches it without even trying and then becomes this big hero.
Right after this
It
one.
is so touching. This commercial to me has become synonymous with Ninja Turtles and Pizza Hut. Ninja Turtles and Pizza Hut just made sense together.
What?
Turtles eat
never
pizza,
mind.
kids watch
I
Turtles,
saw when it was funny
kids
'cause it was
beg parents for
Demolition Man.
pizza.
I thought you said it's way more recent than that far back. Like you sure it's not just like right?
I don't know.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Where in some versions it's Taco Bell and another version. Oh, when I was a kid, I thought that was funny, man. It still is.
I remember
and
thinking
Demolition Man
Pizza
has this whole fast food future thing where
I think they're coming out with Spaceballs too.
They are, yeah.
in some versions it's Taco Bell and in other versions it's Pizza Hut, both being owned by Pepsi at the time. Now I think it's Yum Brands, which was also owned by Pepsi. But
well, the
then-
first time I saw Demolition Man was on my mission.
Oh, so
And
you saw the foreign one first.
So I think I saw like the Pizza Hut version.
How'd you see Demolition Man on your mission?
Because I was a shitty missionary. We had there was like halfway through my mission, they had all these training DVDs, and they gave each companionship a portable DVD player, and they made us sign a form saying that we were never going to watch worldly movies on it.
Oh,
and then I got a
DVD
cool
player?
companion, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
I didn't
There's
have
every
outlet.
single supermarket around town has some dude either in the basement or in the front selling bootleg DVDs. Let's go fucking buy it. And so I watched I watched Shaun of the Dead.
And what did your companion say?
He was cool with it. I had a couple companions that were cool.
One
with that,
companion, like every companion.
So I was a good missionary for my first year, and then
But you didn't have one companion be like, "Oh, I'm not dealing with this frito."
No, I was kind of like
they all just were cool with it.
Let me think. So that last year, my mission, I had a couple prudes, and then it was like my last three companions. I think my very last companion, we would go rent movies and stuff like that, and he was brand new, and I was just leaving, and I think I kind of ruined him a little bit. But I'm sure he was actually a pretty solid missionary after I left.
Man, movies would have made it a lot easier out there, but I didn't have any way to watch a movie anyway, so I had less temptation. You anyhow.
So I watched Demolition Man on my mission.
I didn't have any DVDs or TVs in my.
And it was
apartment.
Pizza Hut, and then I showed it to Morgan after we got married, and it's Taco Bell. I was like, that's not supposed to be Taco Bell. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I remember that's Pizza Hut. And she's like, you're probably just misremembering. And so I'm like Googling it angrily, and I'm like, no, it's fucking Taco Bell sometimes and Pizza Hut other times. It's a foreign version is Pizza Hut, I guess. I don't know why, but
I don't think I would have remembered well enough to have argued with her. Maybe I would have. I guess it depends on how many times you saw it.
I don't know. Probably a bunch because I watched the Avengers on my mission.
I saw Star Wars, the prequel, the first one on my mission, and it was an award for the zone that baptized the most that month. So we got to go watch. We didn't get to go to the theater. We saw it at somebody's house, and I remember sitting there at that house, and it was a nice day out, and just kind of watching it and being kind of tripped out that the movie was weirder than I thought it would be. It might have been different. I got to go to the theater and see it with a bunch of hype, but I did not get to see it with a bunch of hype. So just kind of watching it cold like that with some other guys in there, it was a weird watch.
Oh, episode 1?
Yeah, episode 1.
Yeah,
just not too long after it came out.
Probably because it sucked.
Where were you on New Year's Eve, 1999?
I was in Rexburg, Idaho, in Aspen Village apartment complex, sitting in the lobby. My parents were the RAs, so we got to use the lobby. I had my Turbo Man doll playing with my friends, and I had no fucking clue about Y2K because I was 8 years old and I didn't fucking care. I was having a good time.
You know, I saw this. These guys just shared this thing of these guys.
It ain't dirty.
You don't say anything, but it's just them celebrating on 1999. Everybody probably remembers, and I realize everybody probably remembers.
They're like watching it turn to 2000. That would be cool. I mean, I remember it. It wasn't a huge deal to me because I was 9 or 8.
I was in some butthole way south of Mexico City. It's just some, like, I didn't know anybody. I just moved to the area like 4 or 5 days before. So I moved. It was the first time I'd moved out of the main city of Mexico City. So I was way far south in some little pueblo, and we even drove further into the pueblo with some new missionaries I didn't even know and anything. So I was in the middle of nowhere with nobody that I knew. And but we did stay up till 12 that night.
Yeah, that was people talking to me about their 21st birthday. Like, what'd you do on your 21st birthday? And I was like, I was eating peanut butter M&Ms that my family had shipped me and sitting alone in a room playing solitaire. That was how I celebrated my 21st.
Yeah, I was on that New Year's night. There is zero chance I could ever find that house again, wherever the hell I was. RFM said they petitioned to see Empire Strikes Back, but he said no.
I would love to hear RFM talk about his mission.
Rocky 2, yes. Empire Strikes Back is better than Rocky 2 is. Rocky 2 is gritty, man.
Rocky, well, yeah, it's probably, I could see a mission president telling you.
Blue Meanie saw Children of the Corn.
What the?
Well, a girl made out. My companion made out with a girl in the ward in her bedroom, but I was headed home in a week.
Man, you were a way cooler missionary than I was. I just rented movies and
I freaking followed the rules, man. I mean, staying up to midnight on that New Year's night was probably one of the worst things that I did.
Your MP had no taste. Ours didn't either. Our mission president, right before I got to Brazil,
my first mission president allowed worldly music on P days, but I was only there with him for like 4 months. And my first companion was a doof.
Ours allowed Disney movies, and then he changed it right before I got there because people were, quote, taking advantage of it. I mean, taking advantage. They were doing the thing you said they could do.
They got the box of the Little Mermaid that had all the secret stuff on it, and they were staring at it.
No, I need to go find if RFM's ever talked about his mission. I don't know, because some of those guys that served, they would have served probably a little bit after you did in Japan, but I've heard some crazy things about Japanese mission presidents, like not allowing you to go to church unless you had an investigator, and it's like impossible to get investigators to go to church, so you just don't go to church for most of the mission.
7 months. That would have been awesome. You know, I know. most of my mission, I had 9 hours of church. I'd have 3 wards.
We had several wards.
And they'd tell us we have to go to the entirety of each ward. And in each one of the wards, you'd have to like give the lesson because somebody would be too lazy to give a lesson or give a speech or some talk. So you had to talk 3 times like every Sunday and all that.
I remember one of my neighbors served in Japan, and it was probably more like late 80s, early 90s that he served. And he was telling me that his mission president, like, or it wasn't that, he would go they'd look at their area book and they'd go find kids that were less active and or adults even, and they'd be like, hey, you gotta come back to church. And they'd be like, I'm not a Mormon. And they'd be like, well, you're on our records. And what they found out is they
just baptize them at 8 or something.
Yeah, well, it was baseball clubs. They would have baseball clubs, and they would do the whole thing in English. They'd be like, the initiation into the baseball club is this, and it was a baptism.
No way.
Yeah, that's what he claimed. I don't know.
Ours were more honest than that, but just as quick in disappearing, if that makes sense. Like they just found some people who were some members in the past or something. They're down with like their kid getting baptized. They do it real quick. Call it good.
RFM says at midnight 1999, I was sneaking into our laundry room to shut off the main switch to make everybody at the party think Y2K had shut down the world.
That's a good one. Did you see there's like some Y2K movie that's supposedly like a comedy came out last year or something? I was wondering if that's good. There's a comedy about Y2K. Let's see if I find it. But what was I saying? I remember being in the singles ward and the girls would make fun of us guys for always slipping into talking about our missions 20 years later, and here we still are. Yeah.
Now people would make fun of you for that, especially like at BYU Idaho. Like, oh, you're always bringing up your mission. I was like, okay, well, it's the previous 2 years of my life.
Yeah, as if you did anything more interesting sitting around here at BYU. Dry hunting dudes with your Levi 11.
Yeah, you can't talk about the last 2 years of your life if I can't. So don't be a bitch.
Here's this. It's gonna ding me.
Let's check it.
Sorry.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Any lucky lady gonna get the midnight kiss?
Just talk to her, dude. Is that Lisa Silverstone?
We're actually going to this New Year's thing. It's going to be a total shit show.
Oh, is that Rachel Zegler?
Yeah, it's Rachel Zegler.
It's 1999, and we get in.
In a few hours, you have an excuse to kiss the girl of your dreams.
I think the premises of it is that Y2K actually happened, and I don't know.
Open up. Take us away.
It's so smooth.
It's so smooth.
Yeah, so it's like a Y2K movie, but yeah.
Someone's on the net.
Dumbass. I use gel.
No, maybe that's good. Maybe Rachel Zegler is in something good, or maybe it's crap. I don't know.
It has a 43% on Rotten Tomato, 53% audience score. So it's probably shit if critics and audiences agree.
And Rachel Zegler probably takes it down notch too. What you gonna do anyway?
She talks off as poison even when she isn't being a fucking dick.
I remember I watched the new West Side Story by Steven Spielberg, and I didn't hate it.
It just didn't do well.
It didn't do well,
but she's not even a bad actor.
She sings well.
She sings very well. It's just she's a bitch.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If you could just like even you could have a redemption arc.
I didn't know who she was when I watched the thing, so I was fine with her. Like,
Brie Larson has basically had a redemption arc where people don't shit on her anymore because all she
like
does is say, "I hope people like the movie I'm in."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. That's yeah.
Yeah. We don't want you to become some sort of conservative. Just go back to neutral. Just do that. Just be
nice.
That's the other thing we're nostalgic for in the 90s is we didn't know what was going on with the actors. There was an air of mystique with them. We didn't know what Tom Cruise's private life was.
Dude, a fucking Scientologist, and it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
These people, if you say, I don't, Trump's got a couple points, you are persona non grata. Like,
Yeah, Twitter probably ruined more of that than anything. But
oh yeah.
Anyway, it is hitting that time. I gotta go take the doggy out to get him walking late at night. Thanks.
What's the difference between a soprano and a terrorist? One of them's brown. I don't know.
Soprano and a terrorist. Like the Sopranos, Tony Soprano and the terrorist.
That's what I was thinking. You can negotiate.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, hot damn, fellers.
All right. Well, thanks for chilling. There's a thing, Risto. I don't know our films, but Risto's checking into something. He thinks that there might be some AI non-quotes that he's found from
Jacob.
From Jacob and stuff. So he's been using some quotes around that don't exist.
Yeah, he was asking about it, and
we'll see if it's true or not.
I can do it a little bit, but
I wonder if Jacob would have corrected if it's true or if it's not true. But I don't know. We'll find out. I guess we'll talk about it and cover it if it is true or not. But he seems to have some quotes that we can't dig up that he's been using on these different shows. So
RFM, next time you're hanging out with Bill Reel, tell him he's got a great answer for anytime a Mormon apologist asks him, how could Joseph Smith have possibly written all that book in all that time? Just have him say it's fucking easy. AI.
Yeah.
You gotta do it. Plug it into chat. Hey, ChatGPT, give me a summary of this other book, and it'll do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, AI's coming for everybody, but everybody's falling into it little bits and stuffs here and there. But we'll find out if he's gotten duped by the AI quote bug or not. But Risto's looking into it.
I don't think if he was duped, it wasn't by the AI quote bug. It was by Blairy. Hell yeah, motherfucker.
Blairy.
It was the quotes that Risto had concern with, like, have at least been quoted by Mormon general authorities dating back to like the 80s and 70s.
Oh, they have been?
Yeah, so I don't know if the original
quoting them or not.
Yeah, it's kind of like
They're
that.
probably real then.
I think they're real. That's what I suspect.
You still seem to not be able to source them though, so he was trying his butt off.
Well, it's very difficult to find. I went to the LDS.org to try to find the general conference it was in, and you can't find anything pre-1971. There's got to be archives of those somewhere, but 71, I guess, is when they started televising it. I assume that's why they have it. I don't know. But this was supposedly a talk from 1928, I guess, where something Whitney. I can't remember the name of the general authority, but he supposedly said that God works through the Jew and the Mormon and the Catholic and everyone. It's just that they don't have the fullness of the truth. The Parley P. Pratt one is from his autobiography, so that one is probably legit. But it's the only criticism I could find of it was that Jacob's using it to say he's being inclusive, but Parley P. Pratt was explaining that no, these people don't have a fullness of the truth. You know, they don't have the authority. God does work through them for sure, but they don't have a fullness of the authority. That's what I gleaned. I'm also mostly not super interested in it, so I stopped looking into it too much. But
yeah, we'll report back if it is something or not if it's not. Yeah. So, all righty. Thanks for chilling.
We'll see you around.
Hasta la pasta. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.